I want to get online. I need
BDA Boxing.
Welcome everybody to another boxing podcast, broadcasting to you live from the True North. It's your good friend Mr. BDA, and I sure am glad we got everybody on board for this one, fellas. Thank you for joining us, or rejoining us, I should say. I don't exactly know how it's gonna work out, the introduction, but hey, listen, we got this going right now, and hopefully it works out. We're gonna be holding the prediction show today, the final prediction show, yes indeed, for the Devin Haney versus Lomachenko fight that's going to be taking place on Saturday. You guys know the drill. If you want to donate a couple of shekels our way, you're certainly welcome to do so. Help us expand or ameliorate the infrastructure that we got here, the telecommunication infrastructure. Don't forget that, hold on a second. Yeah, no, I'm going to start the call. Bucho. Don't worry about it. But don't forget to donate with the super chat if you can. Donate to the infrastructure, help the infrastructure rather. Join the membership program. That's always better. You get more bang for your buck. Check us out on Spotify, iTunes, Spreaker, the whole shebang. And what else? Don't forget to like and subscribe. Spread that BDA gospel. All right, fellas? Let's get started here. Like I said, we're going to be doing the prediction show. So we're going to be taking your predictions. Last night, we didn't get a chance to because we were busy with the, the film analysis, which, by the way, I think I posted the link in the other previous episode. So I'm going to repost it here for anybody that hasn't watched it. And we're going to get off to a good start here. You can watch that if you're bored a little bit, or if you still want to get more previews for the fight. That's you can check out that film analysis. We break down the keys to victories for both fighters. And I think we did a good job. We try to do, I think we do a good job of showing both sides of the coin, what one guy can do to win, what the other guy can as well, how their strengths and weaknesses match up. So if you're interested in that, go check it out. I see we got the Bucho here, King Bucho, that is. Bucho, you there?
Yep. Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, so you were talking about earlier about the fact that Devin Haney is complaining about Lomachenko being dirty, and you said that it was some sort of a preemptive attack on Lomachenko in order to when Haney grabs him and Lomachenko tries to get out of it, Haney's hoping that the ref is going to warn Lomachenko for being too rough. Is that about what you said?
Oh my God.
Yeah, I see. We're starting to get. Hey, listen. I don't know what's going on. I did a test, right? Because again, that's why we took time here to do the second stream, and it's not happening as often, Bucho, but it's happening a little bit here. What do we do?
Oh, well, it's good. Let's carry on and see what happens. What's I gonna say about Devin Haney? Yeah, listen, and people are gonna call us haters, whatever. There's video evidence that this guy likes to clinch. Now, if you think that I'm exaggerating or I'm lying, please let me know in the chat. Press the number 1. Press 1 if you think I'm fucking lying about Devin Haney excessively clinching. He does excessively clinch. It's on video. So this isn't that, oh, you're being biased, oh, blah, blah, blah. It's a fucking fact. And for him to start calling Lomachenko dirty, it's hilarious. People are pressing other numbers, several 1, 3, 2, have Miami Kid agree.
I mean,
but anyways,
yeah.
Yeah, that's it. But going back to that comment that I told you that I read somewhere about this guy saying that if you don't like Devin Haney style, you like brawls. Go to a bar at 3 a.m. and watch some homeless people, throw down. They're fucking retarded. They are fucking retarded. So you're telling me Mike Tyson wasn't exciting and he was like fighting like a homeless guy, throwing punches like a wild man. You're telling me Golovkin, Husra Chavez, these guys were boring. Even Hagler, these guys, this to believe that Devin Haney is the epitome, is the representation of the sweet science. It's ridiculous. But by the way, I want to remove this term. All right, the sweet science. What the fuck does that mean? What is it? Please break it down. What is it? Running around, jabbing, and then clinching? Was Vladimir Klitschko using the sweet science?
You know what, Butcher? You bring up a good point because the comments that you showed me were the guy saying, if you don't like Devin Haney or if you don't find him exciting, go watch a street fight or a bar fight. It's like, really, we got to go to that extreme? Like you said, Mike Tyson. And that's the other thing, though. This is when you start hearing these people saying, no, I enjoy watching Devin Haney fight. I enjoy the sweet science. And then you ask him, hey, how about Alexander Usyk? You're a fan of him? Who? Alexander who? So they don't even know. Like, if they're really boxing fans, they should appreciate all the boxers out there, all the pure boxers, but they don't. And we all know what's about. But, I mean, the point is, and this was interesting, Bucho. Last night, we did the film analysis. And we were showing the both guys' strengths and weaknesses and the keys to victories. Just to refresh people's memory, Haney, as a favorite going into this fight, he's at 2.6 to 1 favorite last time I checked. He has to let his hands go in there because Lomachenko has a very good tight guard. It's hard to get a clean shot in there. It's hard to snap his head back. And so I was talking about that, the volume. And then we were comparing him to Jermaine Ortiz, who is a much different fighter than Haney overall. What do you think about that, Bucho? How do you see that fight?
No, high volume punching is not sweet science. Sweet science is low punch output mixing with a lot of clinching. Okay? So if Haney wants to be exciting, he's straying away from what the sweet science is supposed to be.
I mean, it's interesting because Devin Haney does, even in his best performances. I mean, in other words, I think his best win so far is still the Linares fight. I would give that, put that as his best win. I mean, he was outboxing Linares. And then in the later rounds, he tried, there was a point in about the 6th or 7th round, I think, when he tried to really press Linares. And then he went back to boxing. And then he tried a second time to put a little pressure on, and that's when he got buzzed, and he never really seemed to recover that well, and had to clinch his way to the final bell. I think that's his best win in terms of quality. The Kambosos fight, some people could say, well, that should be his best win, Mr. BDA, because that's when he won all the titles. But we know that Kambosos isn't as good as Linares. He beat Teofimo Lopez, that's true. But do people remember Kambosos' fight? That fight?
So exactly. Some people are calling George Kambosos the next Buster Douglas. He's on that Buster Douglas type of level. He's one of those phenomena type of thing. Yeah.
Last night I said this. I said, look, Kambosos is good because when I was watching his fights against Lee Selby and against the other dude, the Mickey Bay, I said, this guy's got skills. He's got quick hands. He's got good reflexes. But that guard, I don't like it. He's fighting like he's Roy Jones or Floyd Mayweather, and he's not as good. So he's gonna get cleared by Lopez at some point. And wouldn't you know it, he did get cleared by Lopez down the stretch. It's just Lopez has limitations too. He couldn't end the show. Both guys went to war in that fight. Kambosos did not take him to school. And I remember when Haney was going to fight Kambosos, I said, this is one of the easiest picks to make of the year. He's going to jab him to death. Even the Haney fans who were on the Open Lines Friday show, on the open panel, they were saying, Haney's going to beat him. And then I would say, how? He's faster. He's got more skill. He got like the L-Dog meme. He's got more footwork.
He's younger.
Yeah, and I said, no, you got to break the fight down. So I explained that to them, that it was going to be the jab, and that's what happened. This one, though, look, I've been seeing a lot of people saying that Haney's overlooking Lomachenko. Butcher, I think that would be a dire mistake. From what the Haneys have been saying, what's the feeling you're getting about their upcoming fight?
They're concerned about Lomachenko. They don't want to lose. I mean, obviously they don't want to lose to Lomachenko, but see, the thing is, when you're a fighter like Devin Haney, who's boring, and they know they're boring. That's a fact. They know they're boring. Mm-hmm. So they know they have to rely on that the undefeated record so they can portray this aura of invincibility. But that's gonna compensate for the fact that he's fucking boring inside the ring. Mayweather did this perfectly. This is why he was still one of the reasons why he was popular, because he made people believe that he was undefeated. He was nobody could beat him, invincible, right? And also there was a Pacquiao fight at the end of the road, so that also helped him. But one of the factors again is that he was in this aura of invincibility. Haney is trying to obtain that, right? Because he's inside the ring, but he needs to keep that zero. So the worst for a fighter like Devin Haney, his worst nightmare is to have a loss in his record. And Lomachenko is a big threat, and they know it. If they lose to Lomachenko, it's a big fucking loss. They're losing to a 35-year-old white guy. I'm not going to lose to a white boy. And by the way, they can't really make 135 anymore. So eventually, he will have to move to 140. He might never get a rematch. So they're afraid of that.
Let me read a super chat here from Uriah Smith, whose name sounds way too close to urethra, resembles it too much. But shout out to Uriah Smith. He says, "Put me down, Lomachenko, 11th round stoppage." Oh, okay, Uriah, I gotcha, brother. Don't worry about it. You won't need a toothbrush or anything. We'll take care of everything. Yeah, Butcher, you're absolutely right about that. If somebody had posted that clip on Discord, it was a compilation of boxers, Afro-Anglo boxers, talking about that, and it was a revelation because I always had that feeling. It was a theory of mine that these guys looked up to Mayweather and they were afraid of losing that O. And then I saw that clip, and I gotta find it again. It's somewhere in the Discord, but it was these boxers, Afro-Anglo boxers, in the Breakfast Club or whatever that show is called. And they were saying that, yeah, it's like, yeah, we can't, like Mexicans, they can lose and their fans still love them because they appreciate their style, blah, blah, blah. We can't do the same thing. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, I think that's a mistake from the Afro-Anglo fighters. I don't think they're reading the marketplace all that great. If Tank Davis loses, will it really affect his bottom line? I mean, all he has to do is come back, knock out a couple more people, and he'll be back to where he is. I mean, I don't think a loss... Well, also, it depends on how you lose, too. Depends on how you lose. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes...
let's say Tank gets knocked out. Let's say Tank gets knocked out, embarrassed, whatever. If he comes back, if he fights the year after 3 times and he knocks those opponents out, puts on an exciting performance, people are going to forget about the fact that he lost a fight. You know what I mean? No, that's ridiculous. This is a problem with these fighters. They look up to Floyd Mayweather. Do not look up to Floyd Mayweather. He's the worst role model you can have as a boxer. The worst. That guy's still fucking boxing, by the way.
Yeah, listen.
Don't look up to Floyd. Forget about Floyd. We need to move on. We need to move away from this guy.
Let's move on, Bucho. Let's move on for that. Shout out to Uriah Smith for his contribution with the super chat. He says, okay, that's the first one. Then he donated again with the super chat. Shout out to him. He says, Tank Davis, the face of America's most wanted. Oh, the face of America's most wanted. Shout out to Uriah Smith and shout out to Ed Dog for his contribution to be the super chat. He says, Lomachenko, 11-round TKO. Salute BDA and Bucho. Devin Haney has as much dog as a gay chihuahua. Oh, what's with the gate? That's the theme of the night there with Never Sobers earlier who said gays for Haney. Hashtag gays for Haney. All right, I got that.
Did he become a Muslim to hide the fact that he's a homosexual?
I don't think so, man. No, that's a big risk. Being a homosexual I did hear, and I've talked about this on the Second Renaissance before, that there's a lot of closeted homosexuals.
I will find out they use that.
Yeah, I've seen that there's a lot of closeted homos. No, they're not even closeted, excuse me. They're out in the open. The rich Saudi Arabians, they cruise down the street looking for gay guys, and they just pick him up in their limousines. It's out in the open over there, but it's weird. It's weird because they act like they're hardcore Muslims, they're wearing the Muslim garb and everything. And then they go out cruising for twinks. I mean, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. Anyway, let's get away from this gay talk. It's a little disconcerting here, especially at night. I see we got Jimmy jumping in. The Jimmy Reno. Jimmy, are you there?
What's up, guys? What's up, man?
Jimmy?
We're getting away from the zesty talk.
The sugary talk, yeah. The fruity talk. Jimmy, first of all, we were talking about Devin Haney, who, I don't know if you saw, it was yesterday, I think, at the Grand Arrivals, or it might have been today, I forget. Sometime in the past 2 days, he actually went up to Lomachenko face-to-face and told him, "You're a dirty fighter." And Lomachenko said, "When? Which fight?" And Haney replied, all your fights. And then when he was pressed again, he says, well, you hit in the clinch. You hit after the break, he told Lomachenko. And then somebody dug up a clip of Haney hitting after the break in the Jojo Diaz fight. So we're trying to figure out why he's bringing this whole thing up. What do you think?
It's actually smart on his end. What he's doing is psychological. It's not even for Loma. It's going to have zero effect on him or his game plan. But it does. It sets precedent for the judge. I mean, not the judge, the referee. He's going to hear about this. Whoever the referee is, he's going to read about it. It's becoming a thing going into the fight. So it'll be a narrative going into the fight. And like, remember I told you before, if you just yell, if subliminally keep saying something to somebody, they're just going to look for it. So it's his way of his corner yelling, "What the fuck, ref? He's hitting after whistle, or he's elbows to the face in a clinch." Like, I think they know clinching is going to have to be a big part of their game plan to nullify any kind of inside game of Lomachenko. And I think what they're trying to do is set precedents with the referee, and also maybe a little psychological with Loma thinking, okay, I got to maybe be on my P's or Q's. I wouldn't think he's stupid enough to fall for that. But yeah, no, I unless the ref takes a point from me, I would test it to the limit anyways. But that's just my opinion.
Now, if Devin Haney is confident, then why is he resorting to these tactics? If you want,
I don't think he's moving confident. I don't think none of the things he's done is exude confidence, as far as I'm concerned. Right from the making up the whole bullshit, how Loma ducked him for 4 years. Fool, you weren't even relevant for 2 years before you got that belt. Definitely weren't in the same category as Lomachenko. Nobody was talking about you fighting Loma. You were a prospect. It's just silly. So, why say those things? It's just things like, doesn't seem like it's not helping him get ready for the fight. Again, I just think he's moving and acting like someone who's not overly confident. I think he sees what people see. Bucho, I think he sees that the inside game, listen, Loma hits as hard as he does, even though he's smaller than him. Inside, that's Loma's game. And I think he's trying to do what he can. But what's that, brother?
No, just in that show, Blood, Sweat, and Tears, he said that Devin Haney said that he was a mandatory at some point, and Lomachenko didn't want to fight him. But now I'm the champion, so I want to fight him. Like he's creating this narrative that it's not even true.
It doesn't exist. He was named the WBC. First off, he wasn't mandated. There wasn't a mandate by the WBC. He was just made number one contender, meaning he would have been the person in line if the WBC was to mandate the fight. That was made 2 weeks, literally 14 days after Lomachenko won the title. The WBC put him there, Haney. And while he was in camp to fight Santiago, I believe is his name, in which time he blew his shoulder out, that he needed surgery, that put him on a shelf for 8 months going into the pandemic. By the way, before he even had the surgery on his shoulder, Lomachenko had signed the contract to fight Lopez, who nobody back then was saying was an easier opponent than Haney. You know what I mean? Unless there's some revisionist history going on. But
Jimmy,
that's it's a lie.
Yeah, you broke that down perfectly in that video we did. And the fact that they keep bringing it up, it's showmanship. It's bad showmanship, if you ask me. But he brought it up in today's press conference, Jimmy. Bill Haney told Klimas or Kilmas, whatever his name is, the Lomachenko's handler there, or manager, whatever he is. He says, who else but us kept putting up our hand saying, Lomachenko. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. Did you send him a contract? Did you make an offer? Because the other guy said, look, Lomachenko exclusively for a while was a top-ranked ESPN fighter, and you were over at the Zone. And your fighter was a young man. There was no need to fight him. So they make it seem, this is what today's Zoomer TikTok fans seem to enjoy. Like, wow, this guy called out this guy on Twitter. That means he must have really sent him an offer. It's like, no, you got to send him an offer if you're serious. And they didn't do that. But look, all of that is going to be, it's a moot point already because the fight is happening. It's going to be interesting to see once
Even psychological, I think it's to pump himself up, to make himself believe that I was being avoided. This guy was avoiding me for a reason. He's afraid of me. That's what it is.
But you know what? I wanted to touch on something else too, because now I opened up the phone list, by the way, and we're already getting calls.
Oh.
I thought it was going to take a little bit more time, but we'll get to the phone calls. We'll get to the phone calls, and I also want to say just something real quick about, when Haney says he's a dirty fighter, but the Haney fans, hopefully he can address them, because when we complain about the clinching, his fans go, well, it's the sweet science, it's part of boxing, which is a bad argument, because that doesn't, killing, murder and rape is part of life. That doesn't justify it. And then when you say, when you keep pressing on that issue, they go, well, it's up to the other fighter to get out of the clinch. Okay, well, Lomachenko doesn't clinch. So if he's going to be rough in the clinch, you can't, the Haney fans can't complain, because that's what they've always said. They've always said, if one guy clinches, it's up to the other guy to get out of the clinch or be dirty back. So we'll see if that works out, and if they don't complain after the fight. Shout out to Jonathan Lambarena, by the way, for his contribution to Super Chat. He says, open the phone lines. I'm about to call in. All right, I see you there. I'm going to get to the calls. Shout out to Plutonium Loach for his contribution to Super Chat as well. He says, Haney by decision. His nostrils will take in all the oxygen in the ring, draining Loma of his stamina. And Shadowcock got possessed by the homosexual reptilian spirit. Oh, come on. Well, I mean, I guess you can't say you want to genocide an entire race and not expect people in the chat to go after you a little bit. But shout out to those guys. Let's go to the phone lines here real quick. Don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like. It really helps us out. All right. We've got 347. You're on the air. 347. Can you hear me?
Hey, how you doing? It's NPR guy. What's going on, guys?
Oh, NPR guy. What's on your mind, man?
Well, you guys hit the nail on the head. But it's a little bit more than what Jimmy suggested, in that they're setting precedent. That while true, they're setting precedent. What it is, it's the typical leftist tactics. Stalin said that you accuse the enemy of what you're guilty of. Right? So you throw the scent off the trail, and you set precedent for that. But that's what it comes from. You burn down the store, and then you claim you're not being serviced. Okay, that's what's going on there. So anyway, yeah, I mean, I don't have much to add except that kind of philosophical underpinning to what you're seeing in the world, or in the case of this boxing match. What I would say is that expect more of it, always, because it has to be that lie that perpetuates. It has to be that. It can't be anything else. All right, gentlemen.
Hey, whoa, NPR guy! Before you go, no. Before, hold on. Before you go, NPR guy, I gotta keep you on the line here, because I'm looking at it's the prediction show today, final prediction show. So I'm looking at the list, and all I see from your end is NPR voice guy Haney favorite, but it doesn't say who you picked. So you want to make an official pick right here, right now?
Haney is going to win this for political reasons. Mm-hmm. They went with the model in the 60s of image awards. So it's all about image. It's not about substance. So that's what you're going to keep being disappointed if you think it's about substance. And that's why you're going to always be hungry for things that don't matter. Because it's a game of idolatry. It's not a game of science. It's about a game of calling something a sweet science. It's never about substance in mass marketing. Never about substance, about scarcity, and promoting something that you see, and therefore you idolize, and therefore you internalize. So it's about idolatry.
So you're saying he's got...
So you're always going to be hungry, and it's never going to go back to fair fights, ever. It's a rigged game. You got to know that. You can talk about it as much as you want. I always offer you a technical reason why things go the way they go, but ultimately that doesn't sell tickets.
So
it doesn't sell tickets, and it doesn't sell particular tickets. Go ahead.
I'm a little slow, man. I'm a little slow. So what's your prediction? I get the feeling you're saying Haney.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. You know, I tend to drift towards either the technical or the philosophical, and suffer no middle ground.
I do the same thing.
What I
all
would
the time.
say is that my prediction is jab and grab, a Haney clear decision by jab and grab, a lot of dirty tactics, a lot of elbows to the face, and that's what I predict. That's what seems to
All
be.
right.
I don't know.
I got your
What
NPR
dominates
guy.
these days.
NPR guy, I think I got your prediction here. No longer just saying Haney the favorite. I got you. It says Haney, jab and grab, dirty, dirty, dirty. That's what I wrote. So NPR guy, we're getting a lot of phone calls here.
That way.
Yeah.
Anyway, let me leave you with one quick thing, guys.
Are you saying that boxing's going to
Jimmy.
promote a kid who get lost in an elevator and who's coming off a knockout for a title fight and then rob the kid who should win? Are you saying we're going to see stuff like that in this sport?
That's all you've been seeing. That's all you've been seeing for 20 years.
Well, he's referencing the fight that we saw on
philosophical
Saturday.
underpinning, I'm trying to give you the...
Yeah, sorry, NPR guy. We got a delay
that's
here.
all I can afford you. If you want to keep paying for it, you go ahead. You know,
All right. Well, listen, we got a bit of a delay
what-
here, NPR guy, so we're going to have to move on to another phone call here. But I got you, man. Jimmy was just referencing the last fight on Saturday between Barroso and Romero. People are still incensed over it. But listen, NPR guy, we got to move on. I got your prediction. Call back next time, all right, man?
Good call.
Biggest vote.
All right, take it easy, man. That was NPR guy giving us his prediction. Like I said, this is the final prediction show, so make sure to get your predictions out there. Gonna get them out in the open here. Let's go to another phone call here. Let's go to 510. 510, you're on the air. 510, what's in your mind?
Yo, what's up, BDA?
What's up? Who is this?
This is Jonathan, or Forklift guy. And just
guy, yes.
just to be clear, I'm off the clock, so fucking Slugger Sam doesn't pop a blood vessel.
Exactly.
Um,
Oh, man.
Unfortunately, I gotta agree with NPR guy as much as, you know, you shouldn't have asked him that last question because he didn't give us a clear answer. But I got Haney by fucking sneeze. You know, and
That makes no sense.
I'll tell you what, I gotta agree with NPR guy because in modern day boxing, we don't call enough fouls, and that's the truth of it. We don't call the fucking low blows the 15 plus low blows that Spence landed on fucking Sean Porter. We don't call those. Let's see what else. One thing I always see, and like what we saw when Haney decided to call out or say that Lomachenko was dirty, and then I responded, you know, like on comments, and you see a lot of, obviously, you know, Haney supporters. They say, "Oh well, holding is illegal. Since when is holding is illegal?" Let me just list it out, right? Let me list out the four main fouls that Haney does, right? So for one, obviously, is if you go to the ABC boxing.com, that's the Association of Boxing Commissions, right? That's a fucking official rules that the commissions use. In fouls, rule number 4 clearly says holding or wrestling is not allowed at all, right? That's one. The other one is using your lead hand or whichever hand to extend to block the opponent's view in front of their guard. You can't hold out your hand. Just like he likes to do, he likes to jab, hold the hand out and do a little fucking shuffle and get out the way. That's illegal, right? And another thing I see is when he's in the clinch, and just like NPR stated, you're going to see a couple elbows from Devin Haney. Why? Because when he being the taller fighter, right, when somebody comes in, you know, and Loma is going to try to come in, he likes to hold with one hand and put up his lead hand. He'll put it up like as if he's doing the guard, right, a high guard, but really he's just fucking throwing the elbow. Is that 3? I'm sorry. Yeah, that's 3, right? And another one, a lot of people overlook is you cannot bend at the waist to where you're lower than your opponent's waist, or you can't put your shoulders down to at waist level of your opponent. And a lot of people call that slipping or whatnot. You don't slip all the way to the fucking waistline. That's illegal, right? And what a lot of people say, well, it's a sweet science. You see Pernell Whitaker used to do it. Pernell would slip jabs or slip punches, but he wouldn't fucking dip all the way down. When he did dip all the way down, he didn't bend at the waist. He fucking bended at the knees. And and it's just funny to people. It's just funny to me that people don't fucking see this. And sadly enough, like I just keep on going back to NPR guy, because he kind of did say a lot of good things. It's just what happens in modern day boxing, to where the sweet science isn't so sweet. We just call it sweet,
I understand what you're saying, Jonathan.
Like
it's true. Jonathan, it's true. That's right. Everything he does. It's right there in the rules, and it dilutes boxing, because then it leaves you wondering: did this guy win because of his talent and skills, or did he win because he was a better cheater? I mean, that's why it ruins boxing. It hurts boxing, and some people can't get past rooting for their favorite fighter and thinking about the larger picture, which is that this is hurting boxing. But anyway, listen, I got your prediction here. Jonathan Lambarena, you said Haney by sneeze. So I'm going to write Haney unanimous decision. I think that's what you were trying to get at. And listen, we got to move on to another phone call here because they're piling up. But thank you for your call, man, and we'll catch you on the next one. All right, man?
All right, BDA, thank you for your time.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Take it easy out there. Yeah, he really outlined the rules in that one. You can't bend below the waist, the other guy's waist. You can't clinch, and you can't stiff arm a guy. And he's been doing all those things. So we'll see if Harvey Duck, the referee, enforces the rules. Let's go to another phone call here, and don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like, hit the like, hit the like. It's the prediction show, the official prediction show. So we're going to be getting predictions down here via the phone lines. 856, you're on the air. 856, what's on your mind?
First of all, good evening. How you doing, BDA, Jimmy, and the Spanish Romano, bro? I can never say your name properly, but I love the way you talk the science. But how you guys doing?
Doing fantastic. Hope you're doing sensational as well, man. What's on your mind?
A couple things. This is Jersey J. I just wanted to. I'm taking Loma. Loma, like I said, the Matrix. I just think he's a little more advanced. He's been in the trenches, and like Haney likes to point out his amateur record a lot, but in the amateurs you see a little bit of everything. I just think, and this might be what you see is Canelo versus Mayweather again, where the young lion, where he's a little bit overconfident in the other fighters long too. Also, let me get on Haney, his antics. Now, I'm Muslim myself, and I feel as though Haney uses Islam as a shield, kind of like what Tyson did. Like a lot of people, when they find Islam, they use it as they get extreme with it. They use it as a pride, and really it's a thing of peace and, being better within as far as your direction with God. And I think he kind of uses that, just to be brash, and he comes across as he's the Larry Holmes to Mayweather's Ali. And I don't see it. I think he got, he fought Kambosos. I think it was a good matchup. I think he's like the third worst next to Ryan. I think Shakur and Tank for sure are ahead of him. But it's just timing. I think Loma will take about 2 rounds to figure him out. And I got it by stoppage, probably by the 8th round, honestly, by a wicked body shot. Keep it real with you, but yeah.
So you feel Haney is a little fragile?
Very fragile. I mean, we saw him get stung. He got stung a couple times, and he froze up. Where his legs didn't move. Like he was actually he kept it together, but for sure, Haney's never been truly hurt or hit right. He got touched a couple times, but Loma knows that silver shot, that liver shot. That can cripple. I don't care who you are, it'll cripple you. You'll buckle to your knees. You will fall. And he can also catch him with a lot of those short hooks. Like he throws punches off clever angles that I'm not sure that Haney's really like that jab. That jab can only take you so far. And hopefully the referee will look out for the grappling. I want to see a boxing match. I really don't want to see a grappling. But I really do think Loma inside. Just the torso movement, the torque on his punches and when he's coming from. He doesn't telegraph things. Even his feints, like when he throws certain feints, like feints are just as good as a punch now because it puts the fighter out of position where the other one's coming. It's the ones that you don't see that hurts. And you know, now a lot of guys, you know, I'm black, you know what I mean? So I'm not, you know, and I am for my people. Pugilist and as watching, you know, in my opinion, I just think Loma's just a little bit too ahead of him. I think Haney, he takes this one and he goes up to 140. He doesn't take a risk with Tank or Shakur at this point after this fight.
Interesting. Well, listen, I got your prediction down there, Jersey J, and like you know, just real quick to your point about him being a fake Muslim. There's some people out there that are religious, and then there's people that just want to say they're religious. And there's a big difference, and it seems like that's the way it seems like to me with Haney. But then again,
Say we call it a fucking night.
yes, indeed.
Okay.
Because, like I said, this is, you know, I'm an artist. We're artists. We can't work like this. Sorry about that, but it is what it is. Let me just read a super chat here that I forgot to read. Let's see. We had Just Brian who said, if you guys were to bet, who would you bet on? Listen, I'm going with the exciting pick, and I'm going Lomachenko. And it's not just the exciting pick. I see things that are going to give Haney a lot of trouble. I don't see Haney being able to outbox him. So that's my official prediction right there. I'm going with Lomachenko decision. I'm lacking a little confidence. I don't think he's got enough bullets to stop Haney. I think Haney's size advantage will play a factor. He's going to be able to withstand some of those shots. But I do think it might get ugly in there for Haney down the stretch. So that's my official prediction. And if I had to put money, which I don't, because I'm a Christian, I don't gamble, I would put the money on Loma. What is everyone else? We already had some official predictions, but does anyone else who's given them, like Jimmy Gonzalo or Bucho?
I wouldn't bet on this fight because I just don't trust the judges and the referee.
Huh. All right. Jimmy, I see you
Someone
said
put a
Loma.
gun to my head.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, if someone put a gun to my head, made me bet, I would put money on Loma, and for the long shot, I'd go for the stoppage, man, because it pays bigger, you know what I mean? That's not my prediction. No, I think he'll win a decision. He could get robbed, but I do think he has what it takes to stop him. But I think if he does stop him, it would be sooner than people believe. I think he's going to try to throw big and heavy. He could use that. He could use what he did against Lopez to his advantage, because a lot of people don't know. Even like Steve Kim said, he better not come in there downloading information, any of that crap. Like, well, we know it's shoulder related too, but still, he better not start too slow. He better not take too much time to, you know, get his rhythm down, to figure out Haney's rhythm, because he's pretty standard. He doesn't show you many different looks. He uses his length and size to beat most people in his jab and his athleticism. But he doesn't show you a lot of different looks.
Just Brian also donated the super chat again. He says, Mr. BDA with that McDonald's Wi-Fi. You know what? At this point, I think the McDonald's Wi-Fi works better than the one we've got here, man. I think that would actually be a better option. Shout out to also to, who else was here? Toon donated with the super chat. He says, I don't want Loma win. Just want Haney to lose for real. He says, I want to see the excuses that come with the weight drained, the ref cheated, spiked the water. Some of the narratives for Haney, Boots, and Wilders are disgusting. Boots? Who's Boots? I think he's talking about Erickson Lubin, maybe. But yeah, some of those excuses have been insane from that side of the street. So we'll see what happens there, Toon. And shout out to everybody that's donated so far. But Jimmy, you think, so would you be surprised if Lomachenko can stop Haney?
No, I wouldn't be overly surprised. I think Loma hits hard enough. I think he's accurate enough. I think he knows. I can't picture him not realizing, like, his age, everything that goes into this. You know, I hope he didn't overtrain. I think his father's too smart for that. I think he would have probably you could see that if he was starting to physically overtrain, handshaking, different things like that. But just, you know, then work on his mental stuff, because he does a lot of that mental acuity exercises too with light bulbs.
There you go, man. Yeah.
Beyond my pay grade, but that's what they
Dennis
do.
from Boston says, shout out to Dennis. I'm thanking him here. We're thanking him for his contribution.
Dennis, what's up, buddy?
He says, I bet Loma 10 to 12 round KO 27-1 odds. Jeez Louise, man. He's really man, those are some good odds.
Dennis from Southie. They're crazy down there.
There you go, man. So he says Loma 10th to 12, or between the 10th and 12th round TKO. Somebody else in the chat says, who was it? I saw that good comment. He said, hold on a second. Real quick. Somebody, I can't find it. What the fuck? But somebody said, I don't understand how anybody can dislike Lomachenko or root against him. The guy fights everybody. It's true, man. I mean, I've said it before. I don't understand when people root against Lomachenko and then they root for Tank Davis and you go, what's that about? But listen.
Like if you're American, African American, and you want to support Devin Haney over Lomachenko, I understand. That's fine. But to shit on Lomachenko, that's another thing. Because this guy, I don't know what he has done to piss you off.
I think the fact that he was born with that skin color is says it all. Sorry, Jimmy. Go ahead. What? Yeah.
No, you're right. No, with the delay, I was trying to time it, but yeah, no, I saw the progression of it. We saw when he first came in, it was a lot like when he first was going for. I didn't like it either because I'm a traditionalist. I don't like change type of guy, but he came in and wanted the title shot right away. I saw the fight with Salido. I would have swore they would have fought, ran that back because it was so razor thin. Plus, the fouls he was taking was just foul. There's a reason to go foul, right? But and he just, and when he beat, remember, you got to remember in 2014, was it 2014? I believe the year, but Gary Russell Jr. was by far the most touted PBC fighter. Remember his quick hands. Nobody could beat him going into that fight. The talk of Loma even fighting, people like, you're crazy. It was kind of funny because you saw like people just turn their backs on, Gary too at the same time. He's a very talented kid, but it was so funny too because after that loss, he started getting really militant. That's when he started wearing the African garb and saying, just look at any sport out there, look who's dominating. And then he said, go, look up melanin. Go to Google and find out what that is, and that's why. And I was like, wow, okay. Kind of a strange thing to say after you lost, but I don't know.
Shout out to...
and it didn't help him any good.
Shout out to KO Surge for his contribution with the super chat. He says, Loma stops Haney by the 10th or wins by decision. Whoa, okay. Well, he's going with 2 there. 2 predictions. I don't know if we allow that. Usually we disallow that. We forbid it, but we'll go with it. Why not? It's late at night. And I don't want bad karma on my side here. But Jimmy, it's interesting because the caller earlier said he expected, it was the last caller, Jay from Jersey Jay. He said Loma 8-round stoppage and he sees some sort of a body shot causing either the end or leading to the end. And we were doing the film analysis the other day and I started thinking, I said one of the keys to victories is Loma obviously has to start out fast, like everybody keeps saying, that's a given. But he has to start fast, I said, by going to the body. Take away the bigger and younger guy's legs from the start. The thing is, you mentioned that Gary Russell Jr. fight. Against the southpaw, it's easier to throw that left hand. Against a fellow southpaw, rather, because you can get that power hand on the front side of the guy. But he doesn't usually do that nowadays. He seems to be very reserved. He seems to be a bit of a headhunter. Have you seen that? Is it just my imagination? What do you think about that? Oh boy, am I having connection issues here again?
No, I heard you.
No, I'm sorry. I was talking with the mute button on like a senile moron. But no, so I was getting into it too. But yeah, no, he absolutely, you could see it in his maturation. He's just got away from it. I think what happened, he started dropping people, and he changed too, right? That Salido fight changed him. He learned a lot in that fight about what it takes to be a pro, and he started putting more on his shots, putting his weight out over his shots, and he realized he did have some snap in his punches. And I don't care who you are, how talented you are, when you start knocking people out or stopping people, there's nothing like it when you stop or do it opposed to winning on the cards. It's just, I don't know, totally different. And I think he fell for it. He liked it.
Yeah, that's interesting, man. Hey, maybe that's what happened. Now, the other question I wanted to ask you is, first of all, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. If Lomas can benefit from going to the body, Haney as a bigger guy, even though he doesn't hit as hard as Lomachenko despite the size, but he does pack a lot of mass behind that shot if he's going to be weighing in at 150 pounds on fight night. What do you think? Would it benefit him to go to the body, or is that risky against such a quick fighter and a shorter fighter like Lomachenko?
Well, going to the body is always risky because you to do it right. You want to be inside.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you throw to the body from too far away, you leave yourself open for a nasty counter. That's why a lot of people don't do body shots. But yeah, I think Haney's body shots will be a follow-up, like in either the first shot, a jab, straight shot to the solar plexus, or it'd be a follow-up on a third punch combo. I don't think he's going to like step in, one shot and then whip at the hip and try to fucking break Loma's ribs, because then he's going to put himself in the oven right there.
Oh,
that's why a lot of guys don't go to the body, because they don't want to face the heat.
Jimmy, why'd you say the oven? He's Muslim, not Jewish. Come on now. Stop it. I mean, I'm just saying. Let me just read a super chat here real quick. Shout out to the theological handyman who says, Haney looks like the dinosaur from Toy Story. He's a true definition of a weight bully. In an interview I saw, he wouldn't admit his walk-around weight. Whoa. Well, first of all, theological handyman, that's a good comparison. He's starting to look like a dinosaur for some reason. Remember that sitcom, The Dinosaurs? Or I forget what it was called, in the early 90s. He sort of looks like a character from that movie, yes, with the hair. As to whether he's a weight bully or not, well, listen, they're holding the weight. Shout out to G Funky, because he's the one that told us this last night. He said that according to the Nevada State Athletic Commission, the weigh-in will be at 9 p.m. West Coast time. That's way earlier than usual. So that would actually benefit him, because that means that he's going to have shorter time to have to cut weight. He's going to be, if he does it in the morning, then he can, yeah.
So they're doing it at 9 p.m. on Friday night?
Excuse me, 9 in the morning, Friday.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's almost 2 full days. That's so ridiculous.
I mean, it is what it is, man. Ryan Garcia, they actually pushed it forward so that he would have to cut weight more time. Exactly, right? Yeah.
It's like the opposite of the Ryan Garcia Tank Davis Wayne.
There you go. I mean, it is what it is. It's called gamesmanship nowadays. That's what they call it. Other people call it, I don't know, not cheating, because it's not against the rules. I mean, if they decide to do that, it's not breaking any rule, but it's just suspect. It makes you wonder whether they're really, again, having to need all these advantages makes you wonder whether who's actually confident in their abilities and who's lacking that confidence. And real quick, shout out to Hyperspace too for his contribution to Super Chat. He says, Loma by 12th round stoppage, and then he says, I hope. All right, Hyperspace, thank you so much, man. And I wrote it down there. But yeah, what do you guys think? Anyone else wanted to chime in about the Wayne?
They're not breaking the rules, but they're bending the rules. They say, okay, it's okay to bend the rules, but not to necessarily break them, obviously. But it's still bad. It's a bad look.
It is a bad look, but it is what it is. Let me just see. Hey, by the way, let me just see, because I had the phone lines here. I don't know if they're working or... No, actually, I don't think they're going to work, because I have to restart them. Sorry about that. If you guys can hear us there on the... Hold on, let me see if they work. Sorry about that. Because I don't... Usually you have to restart them, right, Bucho? I don't think this is going to work. I want to try just...
I thought you already tried. Try, call in.
Yeah, by the way, shout out to Jonathan Lambarena for his contribution to the Super Chat. He says, Bill Haney looks like Harry Henderson. I'm going to disagree with that one. He doesn't look like... Isn't Harry Henderson, isn't that the guy from is the Bigfoot guy, or...
Yeah, isn't that the
Sasquatch?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, the Sasquatch. Yeah, he doesn't look like... I mean, come on, man. I'm laughing like a retard here, but it doesn't even make sense. Oh man, that's what these forklift guys do, man. They just spend their time shooting the shit and coming up with these insane comparisons, man. But shout out to Jonathan Lambarena. All right, what was I gonna say, man? Yeah, no, I'd have to restart the phone lines. Let's give it a couple. Sorry, listen, 336. I see you there in the phone lines. Call back when we reopen the phone lines, because I don't want to risk it again, having 7 people call in and then they're all waiting and then they go down and they waited for nothing. So we're gonna restart them. Sorry about the fellas, but I just want to keep going with the show here, see if it doesn't fuck up, and then we'll go back to the phone lines. All right? Hopefully that sounds good.
PDA.
Yes, sir.
What did you guys think of? I don't know if you haven't even seen it. I know you guys aren't on Twitter as much, but Leonard Ellaby, he's been pretty much quiet since Tank left and stuff. Although he was hired as an advisor, but some kid Cali Boxing, he just basically all he did was post ESPN's ratings and posted showtimes. And Showtime, I mean, it's bad. It's bad. Like, and he flipped out. Just how, oh, you're an idiot clown. Just like goes after these dudes. It's like, man, it's just shocking, and the shit that comes out of his mouth too. But if you guys haven't seen it, it's just a whole thread or a couple of threads where he says the most stupid shit, because right away he said, okay, well, we'll see next week, meaning Lomachenko against Haney, and let's see what he does against Tank. It's like, wait a minute, really? Dude, the first 5 fights that when he was with promotions, like, you're really trying to take credit for a fight that he had to make by leaving your outfit? He had to leave you, go with Tom Brown Promotions. That's how that fight got made. You know what I mean? When the pay-per-views he was with you, he only did 1 out of 5 over 200,000. And then he also said, you mentioned Showtime holds all records in sales. He always attributes success in boxing to sales. It's kind of funny too on that end, but yeah, it's like, dude, Mayweather's been retired for years, bro. You still really going to that? It's sad.
Yeah, man, it is what it is with those guys. They're obsessed. They tried 4 or 5 times on pay-per-view. They finally get another star. They don't do a million pay-per-view buys, and now they're pretending that they can do that with everybody else. By the way, I just read that Canelo did 16 million views, I think, in Mexico. So, I mean, I'd love to see that anybody else do those type of numbers. It's just that's the unfortunate thing about boxing right now. There's Canelo, there's Joshua, and then there's everybody else in terms of stardom. There's no young guy right now that seems to be able to fit those shoes right now. So we'll see what happens. But I want to go back to the Lomachenko fight here, because Bucho, I don't think we've gotten your prediction here.
Yeah, it's just Lomachenko by decision. I'd like to go with the stoppage, but I don't want to kind of risk. I'll go with Lomachenko by decision. It's just like I was watching the videos that you made, the breakdown that you guys did live. You guys convinced me Lomachenko is definitely going to win this fight, but I'm just concerned about the referee. Lately, we've been getting these weird ass referees stopping fights early. You know, we know how Devin Haney fights with the clinching. So it's very important to have a good referee for this fight. And I'm not sure we're going to get one.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's the thing. Everybody kept mentioning at the beginning of this stream, Harvey Duck. What do you think about Harvey Duck? I'm looking at some of his fights here, his latest fights. For example, last year, he was the referee for the Makabu versus Mukunu fight. That was last year. That was like what Soothsayer said. It looked like they were fighting in a FEMA camp, in a FEMA refugee camp. It was disgusting. I don't know why I think it was Don King promoting, and he's got no juice left, so they had to hold it there. He also refereed Beterbiev versus Joe Smith Jr., I think. Did he do that one? Yes, he did last year. That was a good stoppage. Although I wanted to see somebody get starched in that one. Not just stumble and then get the fight stopped. But hey, listen, it is what it is. He also refereed Caleb Plant versus Anthony Durrell. Go ahead, Jimmy.
As I said, because of what just happened, transpired last weekend, you would think they're going to be on like at least high alert. They're going to be, cognitive of what just happened last Saturday. I would think, going into this fight, a lot of people are talking about referees just because of that disgusting criminal act we saw happen Saturday. So hopefully that helps.
Gonzalo made a good point last night. He said he's hard pressed to see another bad call, 2 weeks in a row, because like you said, there's going to be too many eyes now on this. And even though boxing is a niche sport, this is a significant fight. Even though I don't think it's going to do well on pay-per-view, but it's a significant fight nonetheless. A lot of hardcore boxing fans are going to watch it. I don't think they can pull any more hijinks 2 weeks in a row. If they do, it's probably time to stop watching this sport, because we get way too many bad calls as it is. We don't need to see them 2 in a row, because that's just a bad look overall. I mean, even now, I guess, the boxing world has done a good job of trying to convince us to stop watching the sport, but like a bunch of junkies, we keep watching it. But wouldn't be a good look to see this happen 2 weeks in a row. Shout out to Medardo Garcia for his contribution with the super chat. He says, I have Loma by 10th round stoppage. Haney is too vulnerable. Does anybody know if Haney is struggling to make weight? Well, shout out to you, Medardo. And I looked at him when they did the grand arrivals, and he did look a little gaunt. and I don't think he's even started to go full swing with the weight cut. So I think listen. He looks a little bit gaunt, but I think by Friday you're gonna see something really that you're gonna see the full effect of that weight cut. I don't expect.
Before we get to phone calls, what do you guys think about the size difference? Or did you guys talk about that? I don't remember now.
Well, I've mentioned that the size difference is the reason why I'm picking Haney to make it the distance, because size does play a factor in absorbing shots, especially if you get a good guard, which Haney doesn't really have a good guard. But I think the clinching, if he gets in trouble, that strength might be able to bail him out in some tough spots. I don't know if anybody else wants to touch on that. Gonzalo, Jimmy, what do you guys think? The size advantage, will it be a factor? Will it not be a factor?
Yeah, it's gonna help. It's gonna help him out some, and he might even put a little bit more weight, obviously, behind his punches. But it's not gonna be the blunt, like the heavy shots. So, and I say this to say that Loma's accustomed to a lot of like different styles of fighting, and he's taking good punches. He's got a solid chin, so it's not gonna be like that much weight, like a heavyweight throwing on, like being 30, 40 pounds heavier, more heavier than his opponent. This is just like 10 to 15 pounds. So I think Haney not being a puncher, okay, him coming up a little bit in weight might give him a little bit more pop behind his punches, but it's not like he's a heavy puncher to begin with. So I think Loma can deal with that. And he's got to catch him just right, too. He's got to turn that punch over and put that weight behind it perfectly in order for that weight to count. And I don't think that's necessarily going to be the case in every time, every round. Every now and then he might catch him with a good shot with the weight behind it. But that's how that goes. Loma got a good chin.
Yeah.
All right.
And I'd agree. And I'd say he just finished BDA.
Sorry, there's a delay.
Yeah,
keep going, man.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, Jimmy, go. Sorry, there was a delay. I was just jumping in, but go ahead, yeah.
Oh, no, I was going to say, Haney, the thing is with the size, right? If he overinflates, like some people fuck around too much and they put on too much weight, that's dangerous too, because your legs aren't used to it. You know what I mean? In the last few weeks, it doesn't take long for your body to get adjusted to a certain weight, and you pile on too much, and it also prevents you. It can prevent you from getting your second wind. And when I say the only way I can attribute it, to explain that to people, if you ever worked out and you didn't eat right the day before, didn't sleep, you just, no matter what you do, you can't get a pump. You feel listless. That's what it feels like. You're just not getting a second wind. Like you don't. That's the reason why I see him sparring so hard, like shadow boxing so hard in the dressing room, because you want to get your first sweat going. You don't want to go in there cold, and then you get your second wind usually around this. You try to get it through halfway through the fight, but he puts on too much weight, puts on too much mass overnight. It could affect it.
Interesting. See, those are things that those are things that you only learn from old heads and professionals. You don't, anyone else that doesn't know that, they're going to fuck up at one point. Then they have to learn from their mistakes. Gonzalo, you were going to say something as well?
No, if this were Andy Ruiz throwing on, being like 80 pounds heavier than the opponent, or maybe David Benavidez, 30 to 40 pounds, you still got to land the punch right. It would count. Mm-hmm. It's going to help out Haney, but can he sustain it? And I think kind of like with what Jimmy's saying, he might come there like in the first rounds and have a lot of speed and look pretty good. But after like 3 or 4 rounds, when the tires get disinflated a little bit, is he going to be able to keep up that speed? And maybe it just turns out that it affects him. Like I picked the same as Apollo, 12th round stoppage, and it has a lot to do with him cutting the weight. So it might be a factor down the stretch.
It's interesting that
like for me, example. Sorry to cut in. If I make this fucking crazy ass pause and then I jump in again. But I was gonna say, for me, for example, I'm sticking to the pattern. Lomachenko's been getting late stoppages or close to getting the dudes out of there. After he made 3 dudes retire at the lower weight in a row, we saw him when he was redlining it start to get some stoppages around the 10th, 11th. Campbell, Linares, Pedraza, 10, 11. Almost getting Comey out of there in the 12th. So right here, he's also going to have to try really, really hard and go for broke, red line it, leave it out of the judge's hand. And I think he can get the stoppage based off Haney having to cut the weight and just how Loma's been getting the stoppages in the late rounds. So I'm sticking to that pattern. Doesn't mean he don't have to try and go to a special place in his mind to do that, because he's gonna have to. He's gonna have to give us the greatest performance that he's ever given us, that he's ever given the boxing fans. For his sake, not for mine.
Yeah, okay, so you got that stoppage. It's interesting. You believe that he's got enough bullets to do that type of damage. The other thing, I will touch on something right there, because Jimmy was talking about the weight, you're talking about the power. If you watch the Ortiz fight, the Jermaine Ortiz-Lomachenko fight, that was a high operational tempo that Ortiz was matching, but then eventually succumbed to it in the last 3 rounds. So it's going to be interesting to see if Haney can keep up with. I'm pretty sure early on he will be. I got no doubt about that. I think he will be. His speed is going to keep Lomachenko honest. But how is he going to look 5, 6, 7, 8, especially if the weight, like Jimmy said, becomes an issue? I see we got Recognize jumping in here. Recognize, are you there?
I'm here. How you doing?
Doing fantastic, Recognize. Good to hear from you, man. Listen, it's the final prediction show here. So it's time to put it on the line.
Okay, yeah. I'm only making this pick because I'm reading the Vegas line, and I never go against Vegas. Well, maybe I have a couple of times, but I'm gonna say Haney wins a BS decision. He's gonna win on the scorecards. I'm gonna say majority or split decision. He's gonna win. I think he's gonna win because he'll clinch like 50 times, and they're gonna count that as points, and so he'll win. Yeah, he'll win on that. I would look, if this was Lomachenko 3 years ago, despite the odds against him, that they want him to lose. I guess they want him to lose without a doubt. I would still go with Lomachenko to knock him out, stop him. But I think Loma's getting older. Although, never count out a guy with that high level skill and nothing to lose, at this point of his career, and his determination, right? And he could go in there and blow out Haney. But if it goes the distance, it's going to be because Haney's going to be allowed to clinch. He's going to be a lot heavier. The clinches will count for points. Listen, Haney's a shit boxer. I mean that in the sense of the level of talent that he's in compared to a guy like Lomachenko. He's not a good fighter. He's basic. There's nothing special about him. And the only reason why he wins these fights is because he's bigger than the Jojo Diaz and guys like that. Or Lomachenko, unless you're a fool and unless you're just a fan of Haney or you're a hater of Lomachenko, there's no way you see in terms of skill level any comparison. There is none. Lomachenko is far better than him. And so with his age and with the political climate around him, I believe that Haney is the guy they want to win, and he's going to win. He's going to win the fight. He's going to win he would have proved nothing. It'll be a nothing burger. When you look at the fight, you'd be like, what did he do exactly? You'd be like,
could you explain the political climate, please?
Well, the political climate of, I don't know, he's a Ukrainian who he might be considered a traitor these days, that kind of thing. And then you got the Afro-Anglo shit fighter that he's just a weight bully these days. That's all he is. He doesn't really have he doesn't have anything to bring to the table outside of his disrespectful, bad habit, raised by a single mom life. He doesn't really bring anything to the table outside of degeneracy, which is what they want to sell. So he's their right guy. He's perfect for this role. He's gay, he's gayish looking. He's a Muslim. You'll see, like later on down the road, he'll be the gay Muslim or some shit like that. You know,
Why would that not? The Muslims don't. The Muslims don't play that. They don't play the gay cards, man.
No, but I'm saying he's gonna be the guy that tries to usher it in. He might get hurt for it, but he will be. He's a phony. Look at him. He's a crab. Look at him. He's just a crab, and he's gonna win because he'll be big enough. He'll be strong enough to hold on. But when it comes to skill, he won't. You'll see that he doesn't have it. He'll win the fight, and you'll say, "What did he do to win the fight?" He'll be one of those question marks. What did he do? And somebody like me would be like, he held on to him. That's how he won the fight. He stopped the fight from happening. That's how he won.
We shall see, man. We shall see. Some people are saying that it could be the opposite. It could be that Haney no longer has a deal with Top Rank. This is the final fight of his contract. And so maybe the judges are going to be fair and they'll let those hijinks, they'll prevent those.
I hope so.
Yeah, well, you never know, man. You never know. By the way,
I hope they officiate the fight properly. I hope they judge the fight properly. I think if they do that, I think there's a good chance of what Gonzalo's saying. Late round stoppages or 12-round beatdown. That's what I think happens if it's that way.
Shout out to the Funktipus for his contribution to the super chat. He says Lomachenko TKO 10. Haney's dad saves him from a beating. Well, we shall see. We shall see indeed. The Funktipus, I got that written down. Shout out to you. All right, listen, I'm going to try to open up the phone lines here. So while I do that, I also want to mention that we were talking about the size advantage, blah, 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 the body shots, that's going to be a key for both fighters as well, to go to the body. The other thing is, I'm still wondering about this because the people that are picking Haney, and I understand where they're coming from. They're saying, look, Haney's the faster guy, longer, he's got long-ass arms, he's a good jabber, so he's going to use that to keep Lomachenko away for 12 rounds. The thing is, I haven't seen him punching and pivoting that much. Even against Kambosos, he wasn't pivoting all that much. There were some instances where he was pivoting, but it was mostly clinching. Whenever Kambosos did get past the jab, he would clinch. So I'm thinking, are we going to see that jab on Saturday against the Southpaw? And while I await your answers, let me go to the phone lines here, open them up. So yes, fellas, are we going to be seeing Devin Haney's jab?
I was going to say, BA, in regards to the jab, him going up in weight, being like, let's say, for example, he's 160 pounds. Damn, that is significant. But in regards to the jab, he would always have to step in real hard with the jab for that jab to behavior because he would have to throw that weight behind it. And I don't think that's necessarily going to be the case. The weight would, like, if a guy that rehydrates when it's like water weight, you can get some weight, like, more behind it when you turn over a shot because you're transferring the weight forward. Him adding the weight doesn't necessarily make him punch harder every time, because if he were to punch harder every time, he would have to turn and transfer that weight every time he throws a punch, as opposed to a fighter that just got heavy hands where he can just drop the mallet, boom, and just touch you. Like, for example, Joy's heavy hands, little short shots, always. But for him to throw heavy, I would have to, like, throw all the weight all the time, and that movement takes a little bit more of a, like, you turning your body, especially with that jab, because that jab, you don't get a lot of weight behind it unless you step into it, like, really, really hard. And I don't think that's going to be the case.
Interesting. May I also say that Wise Guy in the chat, just to piggyback off your point, Gonzalo, because this ties into that, Wise Guy said, I don't know about faster, because I said that Haney, the logic for that, for those who are picking Haney, is that he's faster and longer. I sort of agree with Wise Guy. I do agree that Lomachenko is still very fast. The only thing is at 35, being that explosive takes a lot of energy. So as you get older, it limits the amount of times you can do it. Yes, it decreases the speed, although not that much. Even Lomachenko is still fast, lightning quick, but it does take a lot for him to explode the way he does now. So I guess the way you could characterize it is that Haney can be faster for a little bit longer, or sustain that speed than Lomachenko. And Lomachenko, remember, he's the guy that has to jump in to get his punches in. Although, I don't think that's going to prevent him from getting the win right now. I don't think Haney's going to be able to prevent him from doing that. But we shall see. The phone lines are open, fellas. In case anybody wants to call in, the phone number's right there in the left-hand middle portion of your screen. Let's go to the phone lines here. I know there were people waiting. Let's see if we can, hopefully, knock on wood, everything works out with the connection and we don't lose any callers. Let's go to 404. 404, you're on the air. 404, what's on your mind?
Yes, sir. This is Coach Eddie from Georgia. How you doing, sir?
Coach Eddie from Georgia. Shout out to you, Coach. What's up, man?
Nothing much, sir. I've been listening to the commentary. I think we got a good fight, 50-50 fight. I'm going to give the edge to Haney, just off the youth, off the speed, off the quick feet, and his precision. You know, he's not the biggest puncher, but he's accurate. And he's the type of puncher that can bust you up. You see, he did a number on George Kambosos. He busted him up pretty good, bleeding pretty good. He was pretty much lumped up, and I just think that Haney is going to be the longer, faster fighter, and I think Lomachenko is going to have a hard time closing the distance on him because Haney take that small step back, and I think that Haney's coming in really throwing punches more aggressively this time, really trying to make a statement. So that could get him in trouble because he might try to sit on his punches a little bit more and could possibly get countered by Lomachenko. But I really think that Devin Haney's anger for Lomachenko and he wants to make a statement. I think he really wants to stop him. I don't know if it's going to happen, but he's looking for a stoppage. That's my prediction.
So your prediction is Haney by aggressive decision? Should I write that down?
Yeah, I think Haney's going to bust Lomachenko up. I think Lomachenko is going to be bleeding pretty bad and going to be swelled up pretty good. I mean, even the last fight, the Jermaine Ortiz fight, that was a highly competitive fight. That was a pretty close fight, in my opinion. That fight probably could have went either way, and Jermaine Ortiz busted Lomachenko up pretty good that last fight. I just think he's too small for that weight division, to be honest. I mean, he's a great fighter. I don't think he has any business at 135. I mean, he's just too small to me.
All right. So you're saying the size advantage is going to play a factor. Now, my question is, before we move on, because we got a lot of phone calls, we were talking about that precisely before I opened up the phone calls, the jab against the southpaw. Is he going to be able to snap that jab against the southpaw Lomachenko?
That's going to be a good question. I think that he's going to be able to get on top of Lomachenko's jab. Now, I know Lomachenko has great angles, but like I say, I know I used to box, and when I hit 35, 36, I wasn't the same as when I was 27 and 28. Like I say, but Lomachenko is highly experienced. He could set some traps. So now what David's going to have to look out for is the sneaky body shots. Because Lomachenko has a way where he can kind of mesmerize you up top, get you busy up top, and he'll sneak something hard downstairs and catch you off guard. Not necessarily that the punch is so hard, but he catches you off guard. He can hurt you with a body shot. So that's what Devin's going to have to be aware of. I think as long as Devin keeps Lomachenko on the outside, I see him winning that fight pretty handily, maybe 7-5, 8-4, something in that neighborhood. But that's my prediction.
All right, Coach Eddie. Well, I got your prediction down. Thank you for the call, and call back next time, all right? Take it easy out there.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, let's go to another phone call here. Don't forget to hit the like, fellas.
I like Coach Eddie. He always has really good takes.
There you
Even
go.
If I don't agree with him, he always breaks them down. Excellent.
Well, listen, that's all we ask, that people break down. I mean, that was a good breakdown. I could see it happening. Why not? I mean, I'm picking Lomachenko, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's right. I mean, it's anything. That's why both guys are. That's a fight. That's a high-level fight. Both guys are trying to implement each other's plans, and sometimes they're able to, sometimes they're not, and there's other factors at play as well. So we'll see what happens. Let's go to another phone call here. Let's go to 661. 661, you're on the air. 661, what's on your mind?
What's going on, BDA? So, as far as Haney and Loma, I'm going to get to my prediction. I just wanted to correct that white supremacist on the Sam who said that I don't talk Spanish, that I went on Ring IQ, and he embarrassed me. You know he did, and I cooked all them dudes.
Dude, shut the fuck up, man. You're not Spanish. You're like a half-breed. You can't speak Spanish. Shut up, bro. Shut the fuck up.
Yo sí hablo español. Yo hablo español. No estoy hablando.
Yo hablo español.
Soy mexicano. Tú no sabes nada. Mi español no está perfecto, pero sí hablo. Mi mamá y mi padre son inmigrantes, pendejo. Tú no sabes nada. Tú no dices nada. Y nomás porque hablo español, eso no dice nada. Es un language de European.
Eso no dice nada. Eso no dice nada.
Cuando mires look, let me say
Little
this.
Marito,
Okay. Hold on, please. Let him finish because we got a lot of phone calls and we can't be going back and forth. Go ahead, Shadowban.
Thank you, Thank you. I appreciate you for letting me talk because recognize his protect his boyfriend, like he's
prediction. Shadowban, prediction, please.
Go ahead, half-breed. Talk.
Yeah, like I was saying. Mi español no es perfecto como mi inglés, pero si hablo español, estos pinches me vale madre que dicen estos pinches pendejos, okay? $2,000. And for Haney and Loma, I got you have to see when it comes to like a black and Mexican boxer, the blacks are gonna pay the Mexican to rig because Mexican boxing is supreme. When it comes to these white people, they're cut. Just look at Jimmy. So Haney, just off for the fact.
Look at me. Married with a wife. What you got?
They're Caucasian.
Basement dwelling weirdo.
They're Caucasian.
Look at his mom.
Unfortunately.
And his grandfather.
Unfortunately.
On his white
side. Jay-Z's on the other line. He wants to borrow some more of your music.
Oh, come on. Come on. Now, see, I don't like to see you boys. I don't like to hear you boys fight.
Hey, we Todd. What's his name again? What's his name?
Shadowban. That's I think that's Mexican for someone who talks tough over the internet.
I'm bilingual. Hey, China hater.
We don't want him.
I'm bilingual and you're not. I'm bilingual and you're not. China hater. Koreans have a higher IQ than you. China hater, get over it, Jimmy. It is what it is. Oh well, big deal. Get over it.
So you really want to go the IQ thing, son? And what comes after?
Está enojado este gringo. Está enojado este gringo.
Exactly.
China hater, me vale madre. Tú no sabes nada. Tú no dices. Cállate, güero. Me vale madre. Like I said, I'm bilingual and you're not. I'm right, you're wrong. I'm smarter than you.
You're also bipolar and you go adjust your medication, kid.
Oh boy.
What did I walk in? Did he take his pro? Ask him he took his Prozac.
All right, listen. Shadowban, can you hear me? Hold on, please. Let me give me 2 minutes. Fellas, give me 2 minutes because I gotta get his prediction. We got a lot of phone calls. Shadowban. What's your prediction? Because I somebody already wrote it down here on the document. It says Shadowban. Hold on, where is it? Haney split decision too big, and he believes in
retarded decision.
And he believes in Allah. Is that the prediction, or you want to change it, or you want to reiterate something? Well, what's up?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with split decision, Haney, and Alhamdulillah, inshallah. Peace, brother. Peace.
Take it easy, Shadowban. Thank you for your call there. Jimmy said he's not just bilingual, he's bipolar as well. Jimmy, that was, I mean, come on, man. What all the,
bipolar, bisexual.
Come on now. See, this is how it starts. One guy says he wants to kill a whole bunch of people, a whole race group, and then the other group has no choice but to go after the guy's mental state and sexuality. That's the internet. That's the way it goes. I don't like it, but listen, this is why
he'll be on the news one day. I guarantee you.
You know what? If everything works out, he'll be in the news in front of a sellout crowd while he gives us his rhymes.
No,
all right.
He'll be in the news in court.
Come on,
wait something crazy.
No, wait a minute. All right, listen, we got to go to another phone call here because this one took up a long time. Don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like. Subscribe if you've yet to do so, right? Listen, this is the type of content we offer you here, right, ladies and gentlemen? Let's go to another phone call. Let's go to 424. 424, you're on the air. 424, what's on your mind?
Hey, Mr. BDA. This is Joseph indeed. Bona. I've been listening to you from the gate. I rarely call in, but I'm calling in today because... this Loma Haney thing is out of control.
I
agree 100% with recognizes the description of what may happen. But I'm curious, why is Loma the underdog?
Well, he's the
underdog. That's what makes me... And he's not only an underdog, he's a pretty significant underdog.
Las Vegas knows something. Las Vegas knows something.
Remember, technically, Tyson Fury was an underdog going into the second fight versus
Wilder.
Deontay Wilder. I'm sorry, right? So when he was, but it was like, it was not even 2-1. It wasn't even 2-1. It was like, I don't remember, but it was less than 2-1. And what I saw was, I think I saw 3.5-1.
Yeah,
I'm reading the tea leaves, and it looks like.
I'm
sorry, what?
Devin Haney beat?
He's saying who has Devin Haney beat? I mean, yeah, that's
Right.
It's an
Exactly. That's a good question. I pose it back to I throw it back at you. Who has he beaten to be a 3.5-1?
Nobody.
We're playing hot potato here. Listen, hold on. Let me just get. Yeah, we get your point there, Joseph. I mean, you're right. I mean, you bring up the good point. My question is, who are you picking for this fight? Because it's make or break here.
I'm picking Loma is heads and tails over Haney and skill and experience. I wouldn't be surprised if he makes Haney's father throw in a towel.
Oh. So you're picking
right.
Lomachenko.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm just going to write down you're picking Lomachenko.
Yeah, I'm picking Lomachenko hard. He's
right.
got, I mean, think about it. Who is Devin Haney fought? Jojo Diaz?
Well, he beat Jojo Diaz.
Cambosa?
Well, I would be careful with wishing, Lomachenko stopping him because he might go to jail for a hate crime. So, be careful what you do.
And guys, I'd add too that wasn't Bivol. Oh, I was going to say, wasn't Canelo 3-1 favored to beat Canelo? I mean, Bivol in that first fight.
Yeah.
I know he was definitely favored, and we all went with we went against Vegas that day.
That's a good point, Jimmy.
Go ahead.
That's a good point.
Any brains knew Canelo was going to beat Bivol. I mean, Bivol was going to beat Canelo.
Well, there you go, man. Well, listen, Joseph, I got you down for Lomachenko. We got to move on because we got a bunch of other calls here. They're piling up. But thank you for your call, Joseph.
Take care, guys. You guys got a great show. I've been listening to you forever.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Really appreciate your loyalty.
Thanks for calling, buddy.
We're glad you enjoy the show, man. That's all we offer here, entertainment. Shout out to you, Joseph. Thank you for your comment. Take it easy. All right, let's go to the phone call here. Let's go to 410. 410, you're on the air. 410, what's on your mind?
What's up, fellas?
What's
up?
Can you hear me? Yeah, I can hear you. Oh, this is the other NPR guy, right?
Yeah, this is the main guy. Yeah. This is the number one cat. I'm not a fan of Devin Haney due to his racist remarks regarding Lomachenko. But putting that aside, Devin Haney going to win this fight, and he's probably going to dominate Loma. Loma is not the same fighter he was 5 years ago. He's fighting in a weight class that is above where he should be. He's 3 fights removed from a one-sided loss to Lopez, and I thought he lost his last fight. He got outworked in that fight. That guy gave him fits, let's be honest. He did not look good in that fight. And Devin Haney has all the physical advantages. Everyone, height, reach, overall body strength, size, length, and I just, if Loma wins, great, I'll be happy for him. But he's going to have to turn in a career performance. He's not the same fighter he once was. And even though I don't really like Devin Haney, and Haney really hasn't fought anybody, he hasn't beat a top 5 lightweight, the eye test tells me that as long as the weight cut doesn't bother him, that's the one caveat. If the weight cut is a factor, which at some point it's going to be, but if it's not a factor in this fight, I see you Haney winning 8-4.
Just real quick, before we move on to the phone call, I got your prediction down. You said, though, Lopez beat Lomachenko quite easily. Did I hear you correctly when you said that?
Yeah, Loma didn't throw any punches for 7 rounds. His punches were in the single digits for 7 straight rounds. He came on a little bit at the end there, he sure did, but only in spurts, just like he did against his last opponent. The first 6 rounds, he hardly threw any punches, and that's the first sign of a shot or soon-to-be shot fighter. The punch output drops. And Haney, or Loma, it's a perfect example. Loma doesn't have a whole lot of professional fights, but he's got 400 amateur fights. Guy's been fighting for a long time. He's been fighting since he was a little kid. Andre Ward was done at 33. Sean Porter was done at 33. Loma's 35. And he's just not the same fighter that he was 5 years ago at featherweight. That's where he made his mark. That's where he was the matrix, and he was everything that he was pumped up to be. Today, he's not the same guy. Maybe he can turn in a career performance, and I hope that he does. But I don't see it. I see him losing 8-4.
There you go. There we got Jerry's NPR guy number 2 giving his prediction. Listen, thank you for your call. Call back next time, all right?
Thank you.
Thank you. Take it easy out there. All right, we're going to move on to our phone call here. Before I do that, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe if you've yet to subscribe. All right, fellas, go ahead and do that. Really helps us out. Let's go to that phone call here. Let's go to 213. 213, you're on the air. 213, what's on your mind?
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Campos out here in East LA.
Oh.
Hey, Jimmy, can you hear me?
Yes, Campos. What's up, brother?
Hey, what's up, Jimmy? Hey, Jimmy. Is there any way that you can get Michael Francesi on the right here on BDA so that Michael Francesi can tell us how boxing really works? I was listening to an interview where he was saying how Jesse Jackson and who's that other guy? The fat guy, there's another preacher, how they would, Al Sharpton, how they would rig fights. And Michael Francesi was speaking about it openly. Like, yeah, this is the thing that was done. I think, if I remember correctly, it was even on one of the Ali fights. And aside from that, Mr. BDA.
Yes.
Yeah, the chat earlier was saying that the first stream ended early because of a Tony Weeks stoppage. Is that correct?
That's a good one, man. Yeah, it's he stole the stream from us, man.
So Tony Weeks went into BDA's house and pulled the plug.
Yeah, and then the chat was also saying that the Canadian Wi-Fi doesn't got that dog.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's lagging in that dog. Don't get that dog. All right, hey, listen, Campos, we got your prediction, by the way, so I don't think you need to give it again unless you want to. But in terms of the Jimmy thing, of him getting Francesi, but that's a little racist, though. Just because Jimmy's part Italian, he's going to get Francesi. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I disagreed with NPR guy. I believe that the reason Loma had low punch outputs is because Loma was dealing with punchers. Salido was a puncher. Ortiz was a puncher. Lopez was a puncher. Haney's not a puncher. So I don't see that low punch output from Loma against Haney. Mm-hmm. And another thing against Shadow Homo. Did Shadow Homo say he was bisexual or bilingual?
No, he said bilingual, and then
because
these guys.
I thought he said bisexual, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, you guys know Matrix and BDA Bucho. You know that guy doesn't speak good Spanish. That was horrible. Miklos from Blood In Blood Out speaks better Spanish than that guy. And that guy said that. Yeah, that retard said that Christ never existed. It's kind of funny because Josephus, Strabo, and Pliny, who were contemporaries of Christ, all wrote about him. Even if you read the evil document, the evil book called the Talmud even mentions Christ. Shadow Homo is a reptilian homo. He's a retard.
Wait a minute.
Anyways, that's my call, guys.
It's outrageous.
That's my call, guys, and yeah, it's outrageous. But I want to tell everyone out there on the chat, please hit the like button. Take care, guys.
Thank you, Campos. Thank you. Take care, man. I already got your prediction down, so I'll just read it out here for the people. Campos' prediction, he called in earlier in the week or later in the week, and he said that he has got... Hold on, where is it? What the fuck? Don't tell me I erased it. No, okay. He has Loma beating Haney. Yeah, you said decision, or what did you say? Because all I've got is Loma beating Haney in that document.
Loma's going to beat Haney by decision, and Loma is going to lose rounds in the beginning. But the rounds that Haney wins, they're going to be hard rounds. Haney's not going to be able to hold up to Loma's offense. So Haney will get maybe the first couple of rounds, first 4 or 5 rounds, but it's going to catch up because Haney cannot deal with volume. Look at the Jojo Diaz fight. Whenever Jojo Diaz put volume on Haney, Haney couldn't deal with it. All right, guys, thank you, and I'll keep listening in.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Take it easy out there. Yeah, that's Campos, a.k.a. The Mole. Good call. Talking about the Talmud. I think they refer to Jesus in there as a son of Pantera, which was a legionnaire. So essentially, Mary was banged by a Roman legionnaire. All right, let's go to another phone call here. Don't forget to hit the like.
Campos is a smart cat.
Yeah, Campos, well, that's why they call him. That's why he's the Mole. You got to be smart to be a spy. All right, let's go to another phone call here. Let's go to 786. 786, you're on the air. 786, what's on your mind?
All right. This is, you can call me DP. How you guys doing?
DP. Oh, Blaine, that sounds a little dirty, man, but we'll go with it. DP, what's up, man? What's on your mind?
No. I knew that was coming. No, it's just my initials, David Parker.
Okay.
I know you, BDA. You always up to those jokes.
I'm sorry, I can't help myself. But go ahead, DP. What's on your mind?
No, it's okay. So yeah, we got first off, I'm definitely excited for this fight. You know, it's a 50-50 fight. I just think I got a bold prediction. Everyone's saying that, you know, Loma, I was listening to your episode yesterday, last time you had Steve Kim on it. You guys were talking about, Loma does usually start slow. You got to download the information, all that stuff. For some reason, this fight, I see it as Loma's going to start winning some early rounds, I believe, first. Because I think, like, I've watched all the blood, sweat, and tears on YouTube and all that. And I do feel like Loma is he's going hard this time. You know, that time with Lopez, that was that really hurt him. That he kind of got knocked off his peg. You know, he had to rebound, and he was fighting Lopez's leftovers. He fought, Comey and Nakatani. So here's the thing: I think that Loma's going to come out, start fast. He's going to and put that pressure on, and I do think Loma is aged a little bit, but people that are doubting him, you definitely should not do that. That's one thing that we should definitely not do. Do not doubt Lomachenko. I mean, he's proven he's won gold medal. He's accomplished a lot, and he got only 18 or something fights. So I think, my bold prediction is everyone thinks that Loma's going to, Haney's probably going to start fast, and then Loma's going to try to come on like he did versus Lopez. I think it's going to be a little switch up where we're kind of going to get a little funky thing where Haney might start off fast with the jab, and, he likes to hold. By the way, I like to call him Hugging Haney because, he'll just hold you all night if he can, But the thing about boxing is that excessive holding is not part of the sport, but yes, holding is part of the sport. Fury sometimes can do it. He'll hold on you and put all his weight on you. And Haney, when he did it versus Linares, I thought he was doing it to survive, but it's just a part of his tactic. He don't like to get hit, and
so you're saying
they say the name of the game is hit and not get hit.
Right. So you're saying Loma's going to start off fast, and you're saying Loma's going to start off fast, and he's going to run through him. Is that what you're getting at?
No. I think Haney's going to start off fast. I'm sorry. I think Loma is going to start off fast, and then Haney's going to start picking back up toward the middle of the rounds. And I think it's going to be down to the scorecard. I think a lot of what y'all said is accurate. The referee. All that stuff is going to be huge. The judging, I don't see no knockout. And Jimmy, I'm a big fan of yours. Is this the same Jimmy with Teddy Atlas?
Teddy Atlas.
What's that, brother?
You got a show with Teddy Atlas?
No.
You
That's
do a show with Teddy
Jimmy.
Atlas?
That's a different Jimmy.
What's that?
Yeah, I thought that was you. If it's the same one, man, I'm a big fan. I just wanted to let you know, man, you're doing great.
No, I'm on this show. I was on the next round, and I'm on BDA.
There you go, man. There you go. Oh, listen.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I definitely watched that show.
DP,
you're a great sport, man.
Jim is the best, man. He knows it already. He tells it to us all the time, by the way. I'm the best, Jerry, the best. But listen, DP, you're confusing me here a little bit. I feel like I'm being DP'd here. So who are you picking then? Loma by decision or stoppage or what's going on?
I'm going to pick. So here's my pick. My pick is I'm going to pick Haney by split decision. It's going to be a close fight. It's going to be a lot of people saying Loma's going to blow him away or Haney's going to blow him. I don't think either of these guys are going to blow each other away. It's too, it's just too close to me to call. I don't think Haney don't really got the power, and Lomachenko's a little older now. So, is he going to be able to keep up that pace, that rhythm? It's going to be a lot of close rounds. It's kind of just toss-up rounds where it's going to be like a sort of biased type of fight where people are going to be coming all over, unless someone stops the other. And one thing, my prediction is no one's going to get stopped. It's going to the cards.
All right, I got your prediction down there, DP. Thank you for your call. Call back next time, right, man? Bold prediction. Catch you in the next one.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Thank you. Take it easy. All right, don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like, subscribe if you haven't done so already, all right? Let's go to another phone call here. Let's go to 510. 510, you're on the air. 510, what's on your mind?
Hello?
Yes, 510, you're on the air.
Hey, what's up? What's up, Jimmy? What's up, Gonzalo? What's up, Lucho? What's up, BDA?
What's up, man?
Good show as always.
Up,
I'm looking forward to this fight. I want to see this. You guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the fight. I think overall, Devin Haney's strategy is going to be the same, so that's the only reason why I still have him as I put a 10-round TKO on him. Because I think Lomachenko, as I mentioned before, he has enough technical know-how to just get inside, and also he has better movement in the ring overall. Because Devin Haney only really has his whatever step bullshit is, but then he moves in and out partly good. Laterally he moves better. So based off of that, even though he does have the size advantage, I don't think it'll be enough. Because honestly, the way he's formulating his I haven't watched his last 2-3 fights. I was actually a bigger fan of him early on, a few years ago. But then, with the whole bullshit happening now, I just fell off and I'm like, fuck this guy. But the problem with him is he obviously banks on his size, so his strategy works so far. And honestly, I don't see him, even if he tries to make any adaptations in there, I think he'll just fall short because he just relies on it way too much. Because he's limiting himself a lot. Because again, he has the technical potential, his physical potential to be greater and actually be good. But he's not going to do that. So either way, fuck him. I hope he loses. But I just want to see a good fight overall, on Sunday. And also Lomachenko, for sure. I think he's kind of. He's not going. I don't know how many more fights he has. Maybe 2 or 3. But I always enjoy watching that fight. So I'm for sure gonna.
By the way,
and hopefully it'll be a good fight.
So you said Lomachenko decision? Is that what you said?
No, I said Lomachenko 10th round TKO. That's why I'm Mr. Booty Juice. That's my original. I'm gonna stick to my original prediction. So.
Okay, yeah, I already got it down. Yeah, I think you gave it. Yeah, okay. Mr. Booty, yes, indeed. Loma TKO in the 10th. All right, Mr. Booty Juice, thank you for your call, man. Call back next time, right?
All right, man. Take it easy. Yep.
You too, man. Take it easy out there. That was Mr. Booty Juice.
Best name.
DP, Booty Juice. What's next? Gaping or Gape? I mean, come on. Let's go to another phone call here. Let's go to 336. 336, you're on the air. 336, what's on your mind?
Yo, okay, it's the Fire Fist again. I'm going to be honest. You talk to a lot of people who don't know shit about the sport. Whether they pick Haney or Loma, they can't break down a fight for dick. But the thing is, with Haney, his linear movement isn't bad. He can get off the line on his back foot decently. But that kid can't move for shit from side to side. His lateral movement is nowhere near what Loma's is. It's not even above average, or not even elite either, like some of these BLM channels claim. The problem with Devin is, like I said, he doesn't have the output. I don't think that's going to keep Loma off of him. He doesn't punch hard enough to keep him honest like Tito did. And the dude just relies on his jab. People are like, oh, he's going to pepper him with the jab all night. The dude's had 396 fucking amateur fights. And if you combine that with his pro career, that's over 400 fucking fights. You don't think he's seen a taller nigga with a jab before? That's ridiculous, man. That is if you think Haney's only going to win from a jab, you're fucking delusional. You know, I was telling the whole world the Bull was going to dominate Canelo Alvarez 9 rounds to 3, 10 rounds to 2, or stop him late. That's exactly what happened. If I'm fucking wrong, I don't give a fuck. I'll be wrong. But Haney's got to show a wrinkle in his game that we have not seen before. And his feet are just too fucking wide, in my opinion, to, one, fight on the inside or to move laterally with Lomachenko. You look at Jermaine Ortiz, Teofimo Lopez, they can activate their fucking feet. Haney can't activate his fucking feet. So I just think he's going to get flushed, you know. I think he's going to have this kid. I think Loma's going to figure this kid out by round 4 or 5 because of that, and it's going to be bye-bye birdie for him. And, you know.
Bye-bye birdie.
You know. Yeah, and what's going to end up happening is Ahi TV is going to go ahead and get his bomb vest on. He's going to go into Ukraine and go,
no, come on, man. You can't say, come on, man. We just had, I mean, come on. You can't, that's
this fucking kid. I just think it's a total fucking mismatch.
Ask the caller if he's from Florida.
Okay, I'm going to ask him.
Another thing, I forgot to ask. Go ahead.
Yeah, Recognize wants to know if you're from Florida. Recognize wants to know if you're from Florida.
No, I'm not from Florida.
No, he's not from Florida.
Okay.
Let me just say a couple of things here.
But anyway, I'm kind of
from
from the southeast. I have a southern accent.
Yeah, let me just say a couple of things here, Fireface.
I'm in Indiana right now.
A couple of things.
Yeah, it is Fireface.
Okay.
But,
come on.
Wait, what?
A couple of things. Number one, we have a pretty good audience here when it comes to boxing. Some people just aren't the best.
No, I know. It's not bad. They're just not like, they're not LGBT fucking retards, like black mouth jewelers. I get that shit, that only want to win just because he's black. I'm not rooting for, like, if the roles were reversed, I'd be rooting for fucking Haney. But, you know, Haney has just made his name off of Lomachenko and hasn't done shit. You know, people give Loma all this shit for having 2 losses. This kid's 13-2 in fucking world title fights. You know, honestly, should be 14-1 because that Toledo fight was fucking bullshit. Even with the low blows, I still thought Loma won the fight. But
all right. Well, listen, we got to move on to another phone call, but I think you wanted to say one last thing there. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, wait, fuck, hold up. I got high-functioning autism, so my short-term memory is dog water. I'll get there.
You said about that kid.
Oh, wait, what?
No, anyway, let him.
I got you.
Yeah, there's a big delay between you guys and the caller. So, So, okay, listen, I got you down for. I got you down for Loma versus Loma by 10th or 11th round stoppage. We'll see if it plays out.
Yeah, but also Haney fights at one speed. He only punches at one speed. He doesn't change. He's not a rhythm breaker. He fights at one rhythm, and I don't think that's going to work against a guy like Loma. I just think he's too talented. That's just my opinion. I think he's going to have him figured out by round 4 or 5. You know, Haney got out jabbed by a southpaw, and you know, fucking Haney was making Jojo Diaz look fucking athletic. So imagine what Loma's going to do to this kid because his feet are so wide. That's just my final prediction. I think he's going to dance around this fucking kid. I think it's over for him. But that's it, you know. All
right, well, listen. Fireface, thank you for your call, man, and call back next time, right, man? Probably on Saturday's show. All right, take it easy out there.
All right.
Hope he's right.
All right, fellas, before we continue, what's with the names, man? DP... Booty Juice, Firefist, these are all very dirty porn names, and I don't like them. So just wanted to put that out there on the record, man. It's getting a little bit too
knuckle deep.
Yeah, knuckle deep. Oh man! All right, let's go to the phone call here. They're piling up. Let's go to 646. 646, you're on the air. 646. What's on your mind?
What's going on, guys? This is E Infamous. I wanted to change my prediction to a Loma 11th round stoppage.
Infamous.
I've seen the numbers for like the Jojo Diaz and the Haney fight, and apparently Haney only landed 10 jabs against Jojo, and all Jojo did was walk him down with a high guard. And I just cannot see Haney beating Loma with just a jab. There's no way. Loma can counterpunch. He has a high guard too. He has better footwork, and like especially with Haney, like the way he throws especially his right hand, his left hook, he's always falling off balance. I think if Loma's going to be able to counter him, he could definitely like hurt him when he's off his feet, and he could hit him, clip him. So yeah.
So wait a minute, Infamous. You said initially Loma decision. You want to change it to what?
To Loma 11th round stoppage.
Oh, that's the number I'm seeing a lot of here. 11th round stoppage. All right, I got you there.
Yeah, I just want like a clean win, like no judges, no bullshit, because if the fight's close, everybody's gonna think it's robbery, like automatically. which I don't even think the fight is going to be close. But the way opinions work in the sport, it's a very opinionated sport.
That's right.
Like
That's
the rules are very, so and so. Like it's not very direct. People just get away with shit all the time.
That's the way we like the sport, opinionated and controversial. All right, listen, Infamous, anything else you want to say before we move on?
Yeah, I just don't like Haney. I hope Loma knocks him out clean, one punch. He's just a liar. He lies about getting hurt. He said that Linares was the only time he was hurt, which obviously is not true. But yeah, I just hope Haney gets knocked out. All
right. Take it easy out there, Infamous. Thank you for your call, man. Take it easy out there.
No problem.
All right, that was Infamous. Let's go to another phone call here. Let's go to 905. 905, you're on the air. 905, what's on your mind?
Yo, what's going on, BDA? Hope all is well. Can you hear me good?
Who is this? Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, this is Al, calling from Canada, the land of the free. How you doing, man?
Did you say Kid Ajagba?
Sorry?
I thought you said Al.
Al, okay. Is that your name, Al?
Al.
Big Al? Al, okay. Al,
Hey,
okay.
Al.
Big Al.
Alan, yeah.
We'll call you Big Al. What's up, Big Al?
What's going on, man? Yeah, so for this fight, I mean, I think it's going to be a great fight. So for Lomachenko, I know a lot of people are saying that Lomachenko had a really good shot at winning this fight, and I like Lomachenko, and I think he's a great fighter. And for Haney, I don't really like him as a person. You know what I mean? I think that, you know how with these young kids with the big mouths and whatnot, but at the same time, Haney is a good boxer, and it's one of those things where if you're sizing up between Haney and Lomachenko, you're going to have to look at their boxing ability and kind of see like what their strengths and weaknesses are. For Lomachenko, as much as he is still a great boxer, I don't think he's washed up by any means. I still think that he can put up a great performance. I do not believe, though, that he is the same fighter as he was 3-5 years ago, right? I think, in my opinion, from what I see from Lomachenko, his style is built around his athleticism, right? Just his ability to move, his footwork, and he does have high boxing IQ, but I also think that it ties a lot into his athleticism, right? Kind of similar to Roy Jones, not the same fighter, of course, but you see with Roy Jones, like he used his athleticism a lot, and that is where he can be able to get the advantage on his opponent. And I just believe that with Lomachenko getting older, he's now 35 years old. He has over 400 fights. I just think that he's going to slow down and just not the same fighter as he was before. So for me saying that, of course, I have to kind of back it up and say, okay, so what would you say for Haney? How would Haney beat Lomachenko then, right? What does he have that he would do better than Lomachenko? And I would say that for Haney, he does have decent counterpunching. That's one of those things that, you know, not a lot of people are kind of saying he is a good counterpuncher. Same as Lomachenko. Lomachenko has good counterpuncher as well. But one of the key things for a good fighter, one of the best fighters, is their ability to be able to adjust in a fight, right? And I just think that with Haney and Lomachenko, later in the round, I just think that Haney will be able to adjust better. Now, you can say that Lomachenko had all these fights, so he's more experienced, yes, but I just do not think from an athletic standpoint, like I just said before, that he will be able to have the same output as he used to before, right? So another thing that concerns me is good.
One last thing, yes, because I'm very interested in what you're saying, but there's a lot of phone calls here. So I got you. Haney, you're saying his counterpunch, his athleticism, and there's one last thing you're saying that's going to play a big factor for his win?
Yeah, so I said that his counterpunching is it's really good. I know people say that he also has the jab as well, but it's not only the jab that he has. He has really good counterpunching, and also he has really good punch placement, meaning like he doesn't only punch the head, but he punches the body as well. And like I said, it's just about making the adjustment late in the round, and I believe that Haney can be able to do that, right? And also because people say that Haney's footwork is not the greatest. Yeah, it's not the greatest, but he also has really good defensive footwork as well. Like, as much as, they think, okay, he doesn't have the punching power, no, but he is really good defensively as well, and with his subtle footwork as well. I think it's going to be an advantage for Lomachenko, right? So just to close it off, I know you have a lot of calls too, right? But the thing is that with Lomachenko, in the early rounds, he's going to have to increase the pace. He's going to have to, be a lot more aggressive than how he was before, right? While he's doing all the downloading, trying to figure out Haney's style, he still needs to have high pressure. And that's his main thing. But I just think that late into the round, he's just not going to be able to he's not going to be able to be the same boxer as he was before, and I think that Haney will just pick things up. And I believe it's going to be a close fight.
Yeah, I got that from the what you were saying there, but you're saying essentially the counterpunching, the athleticism, and the adjustment from Haney is going to be too much, and he's going to be one step ahead. I could see that happening. I could certainly see that happening, and if he plays his cards right, he could certainly pull off that type of decision. But listen, Big Al, I got your decision. We're going to move on here, but thank you for your call, and call back next time, all right? Take it easy out there. Oh, he dropped out. Okay, shout out to Big Al. Gave a comprehensive discussion there or breakdown of the fight. Shout out to him. Let's go to another phone call here. Let's go to 301. 301, you're on the air. 301, what's on your mind?
Hey, BDA, what's up? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, who is this again?
Yeah, this is Irish Andre Ward.
Irish Andre Ward, what's up, man? Doing fantastic. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, likewise. Yeah, so I think this matchup is mostly interesting because Lomachenko has declined, right? I think if this were a couple of years ago, I mean, Haney would also be younger, so it'd be even worse. But, if this was the same Haney, this was like Lomachenko in his prime, he's like 30 or something, probably wouldn't be too interesting. Not too many people would be picking Haney, but, the kid does a few things well. He has a good jab and a good lead uppercut, and he throws a good right hand to the body. He can loop it as well, which is an effective punch against the southpaw. Although we didn't see it against Diaz, which is kind of a big red flag to me. He wasn't able to really hurt Diaz down the middle either. But I think people are kind of underrating Haney's spacing. I think that's probably the best part of his game. He does tend to move back in the line, but he knows how far away he is. And he has got some great reach. I think he's 5'8". He has a 6-foot reach. I'm always kind of dubious if that's always true, but it is obviously his arms are pretty long for his body. But when people say stuff like, a boxer relies on his athleticism, I mean, what does that mean, right? People eventually get older, and the athleticism goes away. Obviously, there's some degree of athleticism, just that's a prerequisite to boxing. But I wouldn't say Lomachenko relies he would. His whole style is around him just being fast and snappy. He has good timing. He has good awareness. He can read his opponents. He sets the table well, and he knows what he's doing. A lot of people use these fancy terms like he can break his rhythm and stuff when he's gathering his steps and going square, but you can say about almost any boxer.
Irish Andrew Ward.
I think Haney, the one.
Because we got.
What's my prediction?
Yeah, the prediction.
Because we have a lot of phone calls. Gotcha. All right.
Hold on.
Yeah. So basically,
let me get. I'm way too curious. Are you running or fucking or both or what are you doing? Because you sound out of breath.
Yeah, I got two chicks strapped to me while I'm going for a run. Get the weight off, and I can only manage two, which is lowering my numbers less than usual. But yeah, sorry if I'm huffing and puffing. But yeah, Haney is going to be huffing and puffing in the later rounds, like we've seen him, because he doesn't have the best conditioning. He tends to fade. I did see Lomachenko having to pace himself, which is that's the one issue I have with his prior performance in this fight. But I think he will be able to outpace Haney down the stretch and kind of beat him up. I'm hesitant to say he'll stop him because I don't think Haney's chin is anywhere near as bad as people say. I think he just doesn't like getting hit. I don't know if he's going to get laid out by a guy smaller than him, but I can see him getting stopped to the body.
Mm-hmm.
And also, Lomachenko, he showed mercy against Comey. I know he had some kind of what do you call it? He didn't like convert, but he had like a re-encouragement of his faith. And
right.
I don't like that. You know, that happened to Manny Pacquiao when he became born again. Freddie Roach said he preferred him Catholic when he would cheat on his wife. And, you know, he would really try to hurt people. That's what I like to see. You know, so we're talking about a dog, right? You got to have a dog, you know what I'm saying? If you're going to be a dog in the ring, got to be a dog outside.
There
you
go.
got a dog in you. You can't put a dog on a chair, you know what I'm saying? Dog off the leash, you know?
If you're Manny Pacquiao, you eat the dog. But listen, I get your prediction here. You've got Loma decision, finishes strong.
Yes, he will beat the dog and he'll eat the dog. But one last thing before I go, you know, when Hamed fought Barrera, we had a great call by Jim Lampley in his inimitable way. He said, I guess Allah knows how to spell Barrera. Well, I think this time Allah will spell high tech. Because we're going to see high tech Lomachenko back again. He's going to be hitting him with angles, hitting him with all kinds of dazzling shots. So I'm hoping this will be a good fight. It'll be a good card regardless. So I hope it's not just a clinch fest. You know? Oh my God, because I'm just going to go to bed if I see that shit.
Yeah, right. I'm not going to because I
You fellas be good, you know. I know you guys get up to all kinds of antics, so try to be good Christians. All right.
Yeah, we try to avoid that, Irish.
You have a good night now.
Keep your running or fucking or whatever you're doing, and thank you for your comment. Take it easy out there.
Both.
All right, take it easy, man.
Sprinting. All right.
Yeah, he's sprinting. I mean, he sounded like this, man. I mean, I didn't know what was going on, man, but he sounded out of breath. All right, let's go to the phone call here. Don't forget to hit the like. Got to slap myself here because I'm feeling a little tired. 281, you're on the air. 281, what's on your mind?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. 281, what's on your mind?
Hello? Yeah, all right. Hey, yeah, this is Dre from Houston.
Ray from Houston.
Yeah, I have a breakdown. Yes, sir. I have a breakdown for this. I see this fight probably going for Haney. The reason being, this is not the same Loma from 3 or 4 years ago. You know, the Loma who was the Matrix, who moved in and out and showed angles and hit and had just dazzled fighters with his footwork, hand speed, and just his dynamic. He was just a dynamo. But against a guy like Haney, who's not there to be hit, it's just not going to be that easy. Haney, he doesn't have the footwork of a Mayweather or somebody like that, but he does have, he has good defensive footwork as far as being able to control range and dictate distance. He can move in and out pretty well. He knows how to fight tall. And what he does well is, he keeps that distance. He will use that jab, maybe throw a 1-2. He's going to come in, he's going to grab Loma and break his rhythm, and make him reset, make the referee, break him up, lean on him because he's a much bigger man, and he will tire him out. Doing that stuff weighs on you as you being the much smaller man. He's 35, 34 now. That's going to tire him out. Also, a lot of things about the Diaz fight. Haney has gotten better since the Diaz fight. He learned a lot in that fight. He learned a lot in the 2 fights with Kambosos. So he's a lot better than he was in that fight. Whereas to me, Lomachenko, he somewhat regressed. He didn't look good in his last fight. The other fight before that, that to me was almost basically a showcase fight. But he's just not the same fighter as he was a few years ago. I just think it's Haney's time, and I just expect him to win the decision over him. I don't think it's going to be a blowout either way. I think it's going to be like a 8-4 type fight, maybe a 7-5 type fight. But I just think that Haney's going to win on points.
All right.
But I'm looking forward to this fight. I think it's going to be a great fight. I don't think it's going to be boring like some people. It's going to have its moments, and I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, listen, it better not be boring, seeing as how it's on pay-per-view. So we'll see what happens, man. The undercard's pretty good too, though. That's for sure, man. So I got your prediction down here, Ray. Thank you for your call, and call back next time, all right? Take it easy out there.
All right, appreciate it.
All right, appreciate it. Take it easy. Yeah, shout out to Ray from Houston there for his call. That was the last call so far. That the phone lines are still open. Actually, yeah, they're still open here. And he actually brought up a good point that I want to ask you something, you guys in the panel, based off of his point. Once I get done with this call and we get back to the panel. But let's go to another phone call here. Let's go to 470. 470, you on the air. 470, what's on your mind?
What's up, y'all can hear me?
Yes. Oh, Never Sober. What's up, Never Sober?
No, this is not Never Sober. This is BDSM boxing.
Okay, no, another fucked up name. Don't play with me, Never Sober. What's up, man?
Yo, so I don't know what this dude's talking about that just called in, saying Haney's gonna do this and that. The only thing I heard him say that made any sense that he brought up his bad footwork. I was watching Haney's fight Cambosos, that rematch, and I didn't see anything spectacular. I don't see anything spectacular that Haney does, except that he's a lot bigger and heavier than everyone he fights. And he's just right there picking his shots, 1-2, 1-2, and he was letting Cambosos right there looking tiny against him, do his little foot shuffle and get left hooks on him clean. And anytime he got close, bro, he just clammed down on the clinch. It's like I don't know. I don't see anything spectacular Haney does. I don't think he's that good. I think Loma's gonna beat his ass. If Haney can't hold him, and if Haney can't hold him, then he's gonna have a problem because Loma's gonna tear him up on the inside. And this fight is right here. We got a fake Muslim fighting a real Christian.
Oh, come on.
And I guess we'll see who's got it later, right?
Well, may I just say, to Ray's point, he brought up the size and the youth. I mean, whether people like it or not, that can be a factor. I mean, I don't care what girlfriends out there say. Size does matter, all right? So it could play a factor in Never Sobers. Now, just to refresh people's memories, you said I got you down here for Loma by destruction. You want to add to that, take away something, or change it? You let me know.
I think Loma's going to break him down. I think he's going to get his foot on the outside, and he's going to get on the inside. And I think Haney, every time Haney steps to clinch, Loma's going to step back and pepper him up with counter shots. I think Haney's going to be befuddled when his lightning fast 1-2 doesn't work and he gets slipped and countered. I think Loma's going to go to the body. Mm-hmm. And I think that weight cut's going to catch up to Haney eventually. And I guess against a skilled opponent like this, I think it'll be this fight.
Interesting. I got that prediction there. All right. Well, listen. Thank you, Never Sober, for your call. I got it down here. We're almost winding down here, but thank you for your call, and call back next time, right, man? Talk to you later.
All right. What
the fuck? All right, take it easy, man. People are really up into with the Muslim thing. I don't think Haney should have brought that up, man, because I get the feeling some people out there are disturbed by that. 510, you on the air. 510, what's on your mind?
Hey, what's up, dude? I was just going to call back. I was going to mention this. I called earlier.
Who is this?
It's Mr. Booty Juice.
Booty Juice, all right. Yes, go ahead.
Mr. Booty Juice.
The one and only.
I was going to say, before, because I forgot that I was a bit distracted when I called down. What I want to see early on, though, how Lomachenko, a lot of people are saying that, he'll most likely lose the first couple rounds. Uh-huh. What he should do, and I'm hoping to see, and I'm thinking that's part of Lomachenko's game plan, if I was going to go out on a limb and say, maybe what he's thinking of doing is maybe those early rounds he's probably going to give it to Haney, but he's going to actually get set up traps so later on once he pushes on the offensive, because he has to go in the offensive. There's no other way he wins, because if he lets Haney obviously dictate anything, even his bullshit style, he's obviously going to get a bullshit decision, and people are going to be upset about it. So I'm hoping and I'm thinking that's what's going to happen the first 3 rounds if Lomachenko decides to give it to him, because obviously the best choice would be to press him and just put him on him, just throw anything. That was the only point I was going to make. But yeah, man, I'll see you guys later. And like I said, I'm looking forward to this fight, so at least it'll be a good fight. At least when watching Lomachenko is always a treat. So all right, man. Take it easy.
All right, Mr. Booty Juice, thank you for your call. Thank you for keeping it concise there on the re-up. Shout out to Mr. Booty Juice calling back. I think he calls in just so that we say his name over and over and over. Yeah, I think you recorded and put it on the list.
Is that what he likes to be called? Mr. Booty Juice?
That's his nickname. He's going to explain one day, but not yet. We want to keep the suspense up. All right, Mr. Booty Juice.
I mean, I can explain it. Like, I can explain it at any
one
time,
day,
but I don't know
not
YouTube
yet,
and,
not yet,
people...
not yet, not yet.
Come on, do it now!
No, don't do it now. Don't do it now. Do it later. We want to keep the suspense up. It's like, we'll do it at the end of the season finale.
Yeah,
all right, Mr. Booty Juice. Thank you for your call, man.
Yeah,
take it easy out there. All right.
All right, man. Take it easy. All
right, take it easy, man. Let's go to another phone call here. Let's go to 773. 773, you're on the air. 773, what's on your mind?
Hey, salute, fellas. So, I think this fight's going to be determined between the 9th and 12th rounds. I think more so for Haney. We're familiar with Lomachenko. I think this is going to be on Haney for us to show us something different, to show us where his heart's at. Not just you can't just rely on the jab, the height, the size, because you're dealing with a guy who's been in with guys like you, but you've never been in the ring with a guy like Loma. So that's what's going to be the determining factor between 9 and 12. Loma has volume. He steps up the pace in the later rounds. He likes to go to the body. He's a mover, but he's a mover in the pocket. He's within range, within striking distance at all times. He's intelligent when he's aggressive. So to me, this is gonna be Haney's opportunity to show us where he's at, where he stands. Now, one of the X factors is going to be weight, in my opinion. We'll see how much this affects Haney. I think if he loses this fight, he's definitely going to 140. Win or lose, I think he's going to go to 140 either way. And then for there to be any kind of negotiations with Shakur or Tank, I think Shakur would be an easier fight to make, of the political aspect of it. And then, of course, either way, I don't want to go too far down that rabbit hole. I think with Tank, there's too much bullshit going on there for that fight to happen. I think if Haney wins, he goes up. But I'm going to favor Lomachenko. I'm not seeing the stoppage. If anybody does get a stoppage, it'll probably be Lomachenko late, because he is able to go to the body, put his punches together. His punch variation is still there. I know he's 35, but I'm not going to be banking on his age. So let's see what Haney can do between 9 and 12, because that's where the truth is going to come out, the championship rounds. So I got Loma by decision. My name is Ricky. My moniker on YouTube is Ricky Ricardo. I think I actually been on a panel or two with one of the guys. Is Drew on here on the panel? I thought I heard him.
Drew? No, yeah, I don't know. I'm not familiar with any Drew.
I'm not. No, okay. That's my call, man. Thank you.
All right, thank you for your call, man. Take it easy out there. Yeah, I got his prediction down there. Ricky Ricardo. Yep. He says Loma decision. Shout out to him. Yeah, recognize I had to cut you off there. What the fuck? You were gonna say, yeah, it's me. What the fuck? Hey, it's been a while since you've done 70s Recognize. But before you do that, okay, a couple of things. Number one, shout out to everybody that called in, and I wanted to piggyback off of Ray from Houston's phone call and ask you guys a question about that. But before I do that, I gotta go a little latrines. But before I do that, I gotta read a couple of super chats here. Shout out to Juggernaut for his contribution to the super chat. He says Devin Haney can only win on the scorecards if Loma shits the bed, or if Bob already has a deal for Haney to fight Shakur Stevenson afterwards. That was sort of like what Ricky Ricardo was getting into there in the last call. So shout out to Juggernaut. We'll see what happens. Again, from what we were hearing, Haney does not have another deal with Top Rank. This is it. This is his last fight so far with them. Also, shout out to Bushido Kai for his contribution to the super chat. He says Haney's camp is grooming fans to see the Haney loss as some sort of corruption to keep his stock as high as possible. I have Loma in 10. Oh, well, yeah. I think Bushido Kai, I think we already got his prediction down, I believe. I'm going to double check. And then shout out to, hold on a second, there was somebody else. I know there was somebody else here. Pete, shout out to Pete. I don't know why I can't find it, but shout out to Pete for his contribution to the super chat. He says, I found Shadowban's family tree. Some of his relatives are living in it, swinging from branch to branch, nitwit champ. Oh, come on. See, now he's going after Shadowban. I don't think Shadowban's ever going to No, actually, no, scratch that. Yeah, I know Shadowban. I've heard him go after Scalebender. I've heard him go after his mother. So all's fair in love, war, and internet, as I like to add. And also, Shadowban was speaking Spanish there. I'd love to see Shadowban versus Foca. We need to put them together as Spanish off. Although Foca doesn't like me anymore. because I didn't go along with his whole racial thing there. He believes in racial purity or whatnot. And Shadowban, I understood what he was saying in Spanish. So, all right, listen, fellas, I got to go to the latrines. You guys keep talking about Lomachenko of Haney fight, whatever subject you want to explore. I'll be right back, all right? Hold down the fort, please.
I missed what you said earlier. What was your prediction?
I don't know. If I had to go with my boxing mind, Lomachenko all day to beat him. I think it'd be a good fight. I do agree with the guy from Houston. I think his name is Ray.
Yeah,
he did make some good points about, Lomachenko is older, he's smaller. The size difference and the age difference can have an effect on the fight. Yeah. I just think that it's going to be the way Haney wins this fight. And I'm not saying that's a recipe to win a fight. I think when you do this, you should be deducted and in other words, punished for it. Is to engage as less as possible. One shot, hold. One shot, hold. Yep, I don't think he can go into a boxing, your best boxing versus my best boxing. I think if it comes down to that, obviously, unless you're blind, man, and you just don't, you don't really follow boxing, you just follow certain fighters. There's no way you could compare the skill level. There's a reason why he fights smaller guys and wins by a hair, maybe a hair or two. And the other guy who's smaller is going up in weight, and he usually blows out even the bigger guys that he fights. But the tougher fights, you can see that he's in a bit of a battle, but he still wins the fight. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like Ortiz, who I think Ortiz is a very good boxer. And somebody brought up that they sparred, I want to say 50 rounds.
I don't know how many rounds.
That's
but I know
insane.
That they've sparred before. That was shared.
Jimmy,
during
now
the fight, they know each other.
That's like a camp, really. That's like a camp or two.
Yeah.
When you usually spar with a guy like that, he knows what you're bringing to the table.
Yep.
He knows what you're going to do. And respect to Jermaine Ortiz, because I don't think he's getting that first 8 rounds. He was really, really good. I'm not saying he won all 8 rounds. Obviously, he didn't. But those first 8 rounds, and when he lost gas, I'm going to say from the 9th round to the 12th round, he still had enough skill set, enough instinct. Like, I know what you're going to do, Lom, to defend himself and fight back. Yeah.
Now, you and I have been talking boxing a long time. So when I mentioned this, I think you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. I've said this on the air already. The way I can see this one going based off of Loma's age and everything else is a lot like Junior Jones versus Orlando Canizales. Canizales started off well, showing all his skills. And then once Jones started his clinching, and putting his head in his face and started walking him backwards, and to where, like you said, a shot, hold. And the referee wasn't deducting points for holding. I know that's going to be right up what Haney wants to do after. He's going to try to establish his jab, and he might actually get it going for a little bit. Loma's going to neutralize it. Loma's going to neutralize it with footwork. I'm assuming Loma's going to try and establish, as Pete said, foot dominance. And I've talked about this every time you have mirror image fighting each other. But it's not that he doesn't have the IQ or the skill set to do it. It's, are the reflexes going to be there for him to do the stuff like he did to all the other people, including Ortiz, when they're going to hold? Oh, you're going to hold me on the inside, well, I'm going to do this. You're going to try and hold me on the inside, I'm going to do that. You're going to try and initiate a clinch, I'm going to get you on the way in. You're going to put the meat hooks around, I'm going to put my head in your chest and push off. Does he have the reflexes still to be able to pull this off? Because like Roy Jones, he was athleticism and skill above everyone else. But once the athleticism fell for Roy, his skill was normal. And I'm not saying that's the case. Let me finish real quick. That's not the case necessarily with Loma, but my point is, if his reflexes have gone just enough to where it doesn't match his IQ anymore, and I'm worried that that's the case, and that's why I'm unfortunately picking against Loma and hoping and praying I'm wrong.
He has the explosiveness in spurts. Sorry, Gonzalo. I noticed that in the Ortiz fight, he had him in spurts. in a lot of spurts too, which is a good sign. It is a decent sign because he needed those spurts of athleticism and skills to beat Ortiz. He needed that. He needed everything he could. But I noticed that it was in spurts. But there were a lot of moments where those spurts came up and allowed him to win the fight. Because if not, he would have lost to Ortiz. And the first 8 rounds, you could say maybe Ortiz was winning. Maybe the first 8 rounds, in my opinion, maybe Ortiz was winning, or it was a draw. You know, it was 4-4.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, rival. Sorry, Chief. Yeah, reflex count, and if Lomachenko's reflexes show up, like most of the time they have, that's gonna be good for him. But I would say also don't underestimate people. I'm not basically like just telling you. I'm just getting that out of my system. Don't underestimate Lomachenko's grit and toughness, because even for power punchers, he will come after you. Just because he's the smaller dude doesn't mean that he's not strong or could battle the bigger man when it comes to strength, right? Because he's gonna come after you, and Haney don't punch, but he's come after punchers too. He went after Jermaine Ortiz. He went after Teofimo Lopez in the latter rounds. So the dude, yeah, he might have lost a step within the reflex category, but based on grit and toughness, he's still gonna pursue you and go get his. And I'm just saying, even though he's the little guy, people thinking just because he's the little guy, it's going to make him that much more less physical. Now he's going to battle with that dude. And he might even prove to be the stronger dude when it comes to the other guy having to cut the weight. And just on physical fucking like toughness and grit and wanting to like go get it. He's the go-getter.
You're right.
Interesting.
You're right. And Gonzalo, you know what's good about Lomachenko? It's not so much that he's got like power. He's a sharp puncher. He's a pinpoint sharp puncher, and he needs those angles. He needs to be able to slip your jab and catch you with a 1-2, follow up with a 3. You know, maybe a 1-2-3, go to the body. He's a sharp puncher, and if he could do that the way he did against Ortiz, you see, with Ortiz made him, like, in other words, he had to do that. If he could find himself doing that against Haney, I'm not saying Ortiz is better, although I like Ortiz's boxing style better. You know, I do like his style better. I'm not saying that Ortiz is better than Haney, but if he can get off those punches that he was getting off on a guy like Ortiz, who uses his feet better, right? He has better footwork. I wonder if Haney can last 12 rounds. That's where it becomes questionable to me, as those later rounds and Lomachenko's still applying that pressure. He's applying that pressure of slipping your punches, coming in, collapsing the inside, the inside, right, and catching you with the 1-2, and then confusing you and catch you to the body. If he could do that, like old Lomachenko style, he stops him. In my opinion, he definitely stops Haney.
I see where you're going with that. I'm sorry, BDA, you're back. Go ahead.
Yeah, just real quick, maybe before you guys continue, I do have to take a phone call here. Someone's calling in. Let's go to that phone call. He was 956. 956, you're on the air. 956, what's on your mind?
Yeah, so good breaking on the fight, y'all. And I was going to say my prediction might break down a bit. I got Loma 9-3-8-4 type of fight. And I feel like the big mistake people are making when they predict this fight is they see that Loma's been struggling lately, but they don't realize that volume is what's always gave Loma trouble. Look at the Salido fight. Look at the Ortiz fights. Volume. Haney, if you look at lightweights, the top lightweights, Haney has the most volume by far out of all of them. And I feel like with Loma and Usyk's style, they use your straight punches against you. They slip those straight punches and they get around you, and then they go to work. They kind of try to get that outside angle, and they have that advantage over you, and that's how they take away your jab. I mean, you see it with Usyk, we did with AJ, right? I'm not comparing AJ to Haney, but they're two guys that fight with straight punch. They fight off the jab. They fight very linear, and that's what Loma loves. So if you go off that, you go off Haney's a very patient fighter, and that's what Loma loves fighting. Volume is so it's not what he likes. So I'm agreeing with Recognize saying how Haney is the better boxer and Ortiz. Ortiz has the better style to give Loma trouble because of that volume, and then those combos. And how you beat Loma is with uppercuts, hooks to the body. Haney can do that, but he doesn't do it often. And what I seen in the JoJo fight, Haney does not really use his jab against southpaws. He wasn't really using against JoJo. He was still pawing with it, which is even worse because that's going to give Loma more time to get under it. So if you're looking from a boxing technical standpoint, no matter what age Loma is, he has his fight stylistically. I think what makes it competitive is the size and age, and I still got Loma. Loma is definitely his fastest prime. His reflex and speed is not there. But this style fits Loma so well, I still have him winning. So, yeah, that's my breakdown.
All right, I got your prediction down right there. Loma 9-3, 8-4 type decision. All right, well, listen, Lowe's, thank you for your call, and call back next time, all right? Take it easy out there.
All right.
All right, that was he's concurring with the recognizers and a lot of you guys' prediction out there. Chief, you were going to say something?
I really don't remember what the point was. Ortiz. Recognizers talking about Ortiz. I don't know who's better between the two right now. I mean, Haney's got the titles. Ortiz doesn't. Ortiz has a better inside game. He throws the uppercuts. He hits the body better. They both like to fight behind the jab at range, and they're very similar in height, reach, and weight. Ortiz may have slightly more power on a knockout ratio percentage. I'd have to go back and check that. But the difference was when they were inside and where Haney's going to just be holding. When they were both trying to work their way out of the clinches, Ortiz would try and hit back. And that goes a lot to what what Recognize was saying, that they know each other because they've been in the gym together. So when you try and hold Loma and he tries to fight with this free hand, while you're trying to hold him, it didn't take long for Ortiz to realize, okay, if in the professional fight, because he's done this to me in the gym, if we're in close and I'm not using my free hand also, he's gonna work me. We will see. Haney's been talking a big game of we've been studying. Well, great, you've been studying. What have you prepared for everything that you've studied? Now, I mean, even though I've been calling that Haney's probably going to win, he still has yet to show me something that outside of like mugging and like what Ricky Hatton did to Kashizu, holding and mugging and using shoulders and stuff to win, not really skills and punches. I don't think he's going to outskill Loma. I don't think he's going to outthink Loma. I don't think he's going to outfootwork. It's not going to, if he wins, it's not going to be pretty, is my prediction. But I am hoping that Loma does everything everybody's been saying, and I would enjoy seeing it. It's just for some reason, this particular time off of watching, I mean, I saw it in the Comey fight. I didn't say much about it, but I saw in the Comey fight that Loma's just, that was the first sign I saw of him starting to become normal. And then, of course, the war and the long layoff, and then the fighting to Ortiz, even though he didn't have a whole lot of time to get in expert shape for that like he has in this one. Hopefully it was just the ring rust coming off. But we'll see. I've seen it in the past where someone's dynamic until the reflexes go, and once the reflexes go, they become normal. When they become normal, the younger guns that were never as good before are still athletic enough to take advantage of the slippage, and I'm hoping I'm wrong, but that's what I'm guessing.
Yeah, I see him a little bit like Manny Pacquiao in that category. You know how when he fought Thurman, the in and out just troubles opponents. So maybe that makes him last a little longer than people in general.
Right, but he couldn't do it against Ugas, and I'm thinking this might be his Ugas.
Yeah, but Pacquiao at that time was like already in his way older than Loma. Loma's still early 30s.
No, gotcha. I'm not talking calendar age. I'm talking ring age. And even though Manny had many more years on him by that time, both than Loma's got now, I understand what you're saying there, Gonzo, on the literal term. I'm just saying that based off of like the natural size and everything else, coming into all of these different factors, and Loma not being able to stay active during the war and stay in the best shape that he usually did, all of these things may come into play, and hopefully everything you guys are saying is going to come true. I want to be wrong on this one. I just don't think I'm going to be.
Hey, by the way, shout out to Ryan M for his contribution with the super chat. He says, after watching the JoJo fight, I don't think Haney can turn with Loma or win the foot battle. I think his white stance is heavy. I think his white stance is heavy on his back foot. I see Loma TKO round 10. Whoa. All right, Ryan M. Gonna write down that prediction. I usually refrain from eating on the show, but it's a weird hour today that we decided to do the show. So I'm starving, so I'm going to be eating. You guys take over. But I just wanted to say, I think people are being hypnotized by that Jermaine Ortiz fight. Again, we played clips from the Jermaine Ortiz other fights, some of his other fights last night, and he's pretty quick. He does things in there that Haney doesn't do.
Fight, man.
He does. Well, let me just say, great. He does things that Haney doesn't do. Now, there's things that Haney does better than he does, but they're not exactly the things that were bothering Lomachenko in that Ortiz fight. So, but the fact that Ortiz is quick and what's his name, Lomachenko was able to get to him, suggests that he's still as quick as he needs to be to get the job done. That's what I see. I don't know what you guys think.
Bobby Chess says that boxing's a sport where you get old in a day. And I'm not calling for Loma to get old in a day. I'm just saying that from the Ortiz fight to now, you know, we've talked about this in Marvin Hagler's case before, even though this wasn't as grueling of a fight as Hagler-Mugabe. Hagler left a little something in there. This was a more trying fight to Loma. And like one of the callers said earlier, Loma's had a lot of amateur fights. He's had a lot of pro fights. He's done a lot of sparring. And even the workouts that he does, when you get to a certain age, they take a toll on your body.
They do. They definitely do.
I don't. Again, I want to be wrong. I want to say, oh no, Loma, because everything you guys are saying that Loma can do, or what he. Let me put it more to the point of why I'm thinking this way, of what he could do before, is spot on, and I agree with all of it. What I don't know is if he can still do it. If he can still do it, I'm gonna sit there. I'm gonna get a big bowl of I was wrong cereal and pour some milk on it and just eat the crap out of it. And you're going to hear me crunching paper all day freaking long with a smile on my face because I want Loma to win. But I'm worried that this is the one where he's just like when I met Vinny Pazienza. I talked to him about when he fought Eric Lucas. I could see that Vinny could see the openings. He was just too old to capitalize on it. And he said that's exactly what was going on. And I'm worried that this is going to be the fight where that happens to him against Loma.
Yeah, well, you say you want Loma to win, but it sounds to me kind of racist. But that's just, I'm just being honest.
I agree with Jimmy. I think Chief is being a little racist there.
100% fact.
Hadn't talked to you in months. That's the first thing you say to me.
I think confidence, and I think he's going to rise to the occasion because 31, 32 is kind of borderline. And the way he prepares mentally, I think he's going to show up. But with that being said, I'm putting all my credit. I'm putting all my belief that Loma's gonna pull it out because a lot of people are gonna say like, dude, this sport can be cruel. If Haney wins, they're gonna say, we beat the best Loma. So the same could be said about them. If he loses, don't say it was because he was dehydrated. Take the fucking L because it could be cruel both ways. Because if Haney loses, he's pretty much food for the dudes at 140 because he's gonna lose to a 30-pounder that's older. Yeah, he's a great fighter, but he's smaller. And at 40, it's going to be like Thurman. He's going to appear off the map. So it can be cruel for him as well, and Loma too, because if Haney wins, they're going to say, yeah, I thought Loma was the fucking white Jesus. He's one of the greatest fighters ever. And there you go. Haney beat him. So, yeah, that's why I believe
he could lose. He could end up losing and getting blown out because he's dropping too much weight. Now, it's going to be skills that make him pay for that. In other words, let's say if he starts huffing and puffing, he's like, man, I really can't fucking do anything. Not with a guy of this caliber and me cutting that weight. You know what I'm saying? That could happen. So it's an excuse, of course. It's an excuse because the guy's more interested in fighting at 135 pounds and beating smaller guys because of his size. Not so much his skills. Although he's done it against, like, let's say, Cambosos and slightly with Jojo Diaz. He did it with skill. But this is going to be the fight where let's see if you can beat a guy like Lomachenko because of your skill, or is it going to be just some, you're allowed to hold. You're allowed to pop shot, one punch, hold. That's not skill. That's just I'm allowed to break the rules, and basically I'm gonna gonna work my way to a boring decision against a guy who's aging.
Right.
And smaller, way smaller.
Naturally smaller, yeah. Well, I mean, even
look at the size of their cranium. Look at the size of their cranium. You know,
we've talked
your
about
head
that.
gets bigger.
We've talked about that.
Your head gets bigger as you get older, right? As you get older, your cranium starts to grow a little bit more, especially in that late 20s, early 30s. Your face gets bigger. Dude, he's already got twice the size of the head as Lomachenko, who's 35 years old. And he's like, what, 24, 23?
Let's see. All right. First of all, I just looked at the phone calls here, the log. There's some phone calls piling up again. We're getting a second wind here. So don't forget, people, to hit the like, subscribe if you had to subscribe. Shout out to Ryan M, by the way, for his contribution to the super chat. He says, after watching the JoJo fight, I don't think Haney can turn with Loma or win the foot battle. I think his white stance, he's heavy. Oh, no, wait, I already read that, didn't I? Shout out to Ryan M there. Okay, shout out to Ryan M. My goodness gracious. But why not? I read it a second time. Why not? Deserves a second reading. All right, let's go to the phone call here. Let's go to 404. 404, you're on the air. 404, what's on your mind?
Hey, this is Coach Eddie again. I'm sorry to keep calling. This is my second time calling. I just want to chime in again. I just want to just make a comment that this is a great fight for boxing, and we have to give both guys credit. If Lomachenko wins, we got to give him credit, because when we start tearing the other boxer down, that's basically saying, "Oh, this guy's beating a nobody." Both of these guys are highly skilled. So if Devin beats Lomachenko, we got to give him credit, because Bob Arum said that this was the best fighter that he's seen since Muhammad Ali. He put him right up there in the same category with Floyd Mayweather and Sugar Ray Leonard. Floyd Mayweather beat Canelo at age 36. I think he might have been 36 or 37.
It was 36.
Nobody was calling Floyd old. 36 years old. Canelo was 23, 24 years old, and outweighed Mayweather by 20 pounds by the time they fought. So if Lomachenko is as great as Bob Arum said he is, he should be able to pull this win off. If he's on that same level with Muhammad Ali,
it's context.
Floyd Mayweather.
It's context for a fight, right? So I can't. Okay, let's say for instance, I don't give Andre Ward any credit for beating Kovalev twice. Now, technically, he won the fight. The judges gave him the fight. He did nothing, in my opinion, to win that fight. The first fight, he clearly lost, in my opinion.
The first fight. I think Kovalev.
Yeah, but I'm not going to give him credit for that. You understand what I'm saying? Now, what if that happened in this fight? What if you got, the Lomachenko looks like he's clearly winning most of the rounds and drops Haney, and Haney goes 12 rounds and they give it. I'm not giving Haney props for that. That's a robbery. That's called you got robbed. Now, if he goes in there and, like you said, a guy wins fair, whether it's Lomachenko, whether it's Devin Haney, they clearly win the fight. Then I'll say, yo, this guy, regardless of what I thought, I got to give him credit because he went in there and he clearly beat such and such. Okay, so I kind of disagree with you. I agree that if whoever wins and they win and they clearly win the fight, you got to give them credit. But I also disagree with you because there is context to a fight. No way would I ever say that first win was an amazing win by Andre Ward, a fight that I thought he lost at least 8 rounds and got dropped.
Coach Haney, go ahead, man.
I agree with that, but like I say, Floyd Mayweather, he beat Canelo when he was older. You know, got to give him credit for that. Like I say, Canelo was a young, up and coming strong guy.
Yeah, Floyd Mayweather is one of the greatest fighters to ever lived. You know what I'm saying? So he's definitely in the last.
They put Lomachenko on the same level. They put him in the same level with Muhammad Ali. Sugar Ray Leonard.
Yeah,
matter of fact,
lose a fight.
He was greater than Terrence Crawford and Andre Ward.
Yeah, let me just interject. Let me just interject here. Let me just interject. That was Bob Arum doing that at the peak of Loma Mania.
Yeah,
but I haven't seen anybody else. Even the most hardcore Lomachenko fans here, circa 2018. We're not saying that he was better than Ali or even Pacquiao. That was the thing that I remember some people on this panel saying. Now, I do want to say one thing, though, about this fight. To Coach Eddie's point, this is a good fight because there's no shenanigans as far as we know. There's no rehydration clause. There's no catch weight. to a certain extent, we did have that with Mayweather Canelo. It wasn't 154; it was a catchweight. So this one, it looks like it's clean. It looks like it's clean. There's no rehydration clause. There's no shenanigans, and hopefully, it's a fair fight. And Coach Eddie, I concur with your assessment. This is a good fight, and hopefully, it's worth the pay-per-view price. But listen, we do have to move on to another phone call here. They're piling up again. But go ahead, Coach Eddie. Yes, one final comment, if you may, or if you will.
Yeah. The one final thing, I just wanted to just say, just to sell the fight. Devin Haney, I think he purposely cast himself as a villain in this fight to help sell the fight. You know what I mean? He cast himself as a villain. You got Lomachenko, the good white Christian, and then you got you got Allah Akbar. You know what I'm saying? The flashy jewelry. So that makes people not. And I'm a black guy, but that makes people not want. It makes people want to automatically root against Devin Haney. I don't like this guy. He's flashy. He has a lot of jewelry. He talks too much. He's taking a page out of Ric Flair's page. He's taking a page out of Ali's page. Be flashy, be flamboyant, run your mouth, talk a lot of crap, and either the people are going to tune in to see you get beat, or they're going to tune in to root for you. So I think he cast himself as a heel in this fight. That's all I want to say. But good show, Coach.
All right, thank you, man. Thank you, Coach Eddie. Take it easy, man. Thank you for calling in.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we got to get back here to the phone calls because they're piling up again, man. And I'm always afraid to click hang up on the last calls because then I accidentally hang up on somebody else. So let's go to another phone call here. Let's go to 661. 661, you're on the air. 661, what's on your mind?
What's up, BDH? It's me, Shadowban. I saw people calling back, and I wanted to call back.
Oh, I'm bored.
I hear people mentioning the Jermaine Ortiz fight.
Sure.
And when I first saw that fight, I thought it was close or whatever, closer than I thought. But I watched it back, and Loma for sure beat him. For sure, definitely beat him. He was pressuring him. He had him backing up. He caught him with the harder shots. He 100% beat him. It just looked close when I first saw it, but after watching it, he definitely beat him, and he beat him convincingly. But the thing is, when you look at the definition of mass, BDA, a coherent, typically large body of matter with no definite shape, right? And they say, as men, you're supposed to be masculine. In the crowd, those are the masses, right?
Interesting.
They told you to wear your mask. Right? And Christmas, what is it? Christmas. At church, they say it's the mass because it's a spell. Remember, Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter.
Be feminine.
And so whenever whenever you hear mass, you're basically saying a coherent, typically large body of matter. So it's a spell for matter, right? Concentrated dark matter, the concentration of dark matter. That's why there's a double standards, and it seems like the only thing that matters, people are concentrated, is the dark-skinned people, right? That's where the double standards come from. And there's a larger agenda that people don't. And I say this with all due respect. I'm not even trying to disrespect you, Recognize. When I first heard Recognize, I thought he was black. It has to do with that. It's deeper than just hip-hop or ebonics. So that's what I'm telling you. Like, look up Concentrated Dark Matter, a lecture by Shadowban. It's the most truth you ever hear. Elon Musk will never tell you this. These China haters will never tell you this. I promise you. It's the most truth you will ever hear in your entire life. It's a fact.
I'm tan-skinned.
So, yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
Shadowbat, I'm tan-skinned.
No, I know. You're Puerto Rican. I know you're a Latino. I know. But when I first heard you, I thought you were black. And it has to do with that. Like all this slang and hip hop, and it's deeper than hip hop. It's deeper than you could even think. It really is.
All right. Well, listen, Shadowban, thank you for calling back, man. And hopefully, listen, I want to see you and Jimmy patch things up, man, because I don't like to see you boys fighting. I like to have a peace and love here. So hopefully you guys can get together one day, maybe on the second Renaissance, and you guys can flow on that one.
For sure. It's up to him. It's up to him and people to accept the truth. I know they don't like that. I'm the messenger, but it is what it is. Peace.
All right. Peace. All right. Peace and love. Take it easy, gentlemen. All right. Let's go to another phone call here. Let's go to 416. 416. You're on the air. 416. What's on your mind?
Yo, what's up, BDA? I enjoyed the show thoroughly. I respect the fact that majority of the comments and the the review is fairly it's used with metric and quite objective versus being just purely tribal or just based on race or whatnot. But just out of thought, when Lomachenko, and I guess I could go to Boxrec and review, but in the context of him, when Loma became, unified, and how long did it take him to get the like all the belts versus I had like thoroughly, like I can see Haney like having to, the quote unquote Emperor Kambosos winning the lottery. No, he won that match against Teo, and like outright. But then, and then him losing it to Haney, and then losing the rematch outright, and then Haney getting all the belts.
Mm-hmm.
The road. What I'm getting at is the road taken for Loma. What was that duration to get all the belts?
I think it was a year.
I think it was
a year and a half, maybe. No, yeah, I think it was a year and a half, something like that.
Yeah, he went up. Remember, he went up to 135, and his first fight was against Linares for the WBA, I believe, at the time. Am I right about that? BDA was the WBA. I mean, it doesn't matter. He took Linares' belt. Then he fought Pedraza for the WBO. I think Pedraza was the WBO. So these were, if I'm not mistaken, these were consecutive. The Linares fight, first fight at 135. I don't know what the timeline was, but then the second fight was for, I believe, Pedraza. Then for Pedraza, he fought Corolla, knocked him out, and then he fought for a vacant belt against Luke Campbell. Was it Luke Campbell, BDA?
Yeah, Campbell. Yeah. It was in the UK.
In four fights, at 135 pounds, 3 of them were for belts. He collected 3 belts.
So, caller, what's the?
So that was a year and a half. You guys are saying that was a year and a half. You guys are saying?
Yeah,
You're probably right. Yeah, about a year and a half. You're probably right about that. Or maybe 2 years.
You know what? Not a lot of people. Yeah. So not a lot of people touch on this, and I was thinking about this, and this is more from a psychological and mental perspective. Like, Haney came through, and I'm not saying that he didn't deserve winning, because yes, he fought Kambosos through and through. He went back to his home ground, his stomping ground, and stomped on him again decisively in the second fight. But to win all 4 belts with an easy, I would call it an easier path. Versus Loma scrounging for it for a year and a half to get unified. I think the mental propensity of Loma of wanting to claim his belts back out of just pure grit to say, I fought tooth and nail to get all 4 belts, and I'm gonna want to do that decisively again now to get them back. I think that hunger is a bit more.
Well, listen,
I'm not saying that Haney won't have that, because Haney's.
But that's what I want to. That's what I want to say right there, caller.
No, wait. Let me just say this. Haney's on the trajectory where he's coming off of real super high, like, and I'm even one to say, like, he has the clout to say that, yo, man, I went to this guy's backyard again and like stomped on this guy decisively, but Kambosos is nowhere near Lomachenko.
I agree,
right?
though. I agree, but listen, I get what you're saying, caller. I get what you're saying, that he had an easier route, you could say. But at the end of the day, this is boxing, and just like in life, it ain't fair. It's sometimes it's about fortune too. Sometimes it is fair, or more than fair. You can get good luck in a situation, and that's what he got. He did go to Australia. He beat Kambosos, won all the belts, and now we're gonna see if he can beat Lomachenko. At the end of the day, things can get erased that's the beauty of boxing. With one win, it's like a whiteout. It erases everything that happened before, all the doubts that people had about you. So we'll see what happens, man. I'm looking forward to this fight, and I don't really care too
BDA,
much about the past.
real quick
right now.
to the callers question. So I'm looking up BoxRec, and I got the dates here. So when he fought Linares, his first fight at 135 pounds, that was May 12th, 2018. Then he went and fought Pedraza December of that same year, 2018. Then he fought Corolla. He was defending his two belts against Corolla. Crolla.
Oh, yeah,
that was
Corolla.
April
Yeah.
of 2019. And then he fought Luke Campbell in August 31st, 2019. So from May of 2018, his first fight at 135 pounds for a belt against Linares, up to August 31st, 2019. So that's a total of 15 months. He collected 3 belts. He had 4 fights and collected 3 belts.
There you go. Hopefully that answers the question somewhat there, caller. And I do agree that, I mean, I get what you're saying about the path to success. Maybe a shorter path does hamper a guy, but it certainly doesn't really make or break something. But now, who is this, by the way? I was just want to make sure if I already got your prediction.
It's Ricardo. My prediction, fuck, man, it's a 50-50 still for me, but now listening to you guys and then watching some of the older fights of Loma, if he has that grit and, you know, his reaction time hasn't, you know, reduced by even for the being speculative, like even by 5%, then I would have Loma edging out Devin. But
what, you got Haney?
I don't know, man, because like
you got to pull the trigger. No. See that the problem is, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to tell you what the problem is right now. You're overthinking it. Just without thinking, just blur it out. Let your intuition take over.
Lomachenko.
All right, there you go. Record
Yeah.
it. Now this is
I'm with this caller, man.
This is
honestly,
yeah.
When I pay no attention to the fucking politics and just take everything in consideration, the age, the size, the skills, I still come up with Loma. Absent of the politics of boxing, if this fight is close, how it's officiated, whatever, I come up with Lomachenko as the better skill fighter still at 35. Oh, one more thing. When he did that BDA, that was the most active.
This ain't no PBC fucking production, man. That's a fact.
Yeah, hopefully, man. Hopefully. All right, now recognize. Hold that thought. Listen, Ricardo, thank you for your call. We got to move on because we're winding down here. But thank you for your call, Ricardo. Call back next time, all right, man? Take it easy out there.
I'll be quick, BDA, with this.
Yes.
That was the most active he was. That span where he went to 135 and collected 3 belts in 4 fights in 15 months. That was the most active Lomachenko was throughout his professional career. So it's interesting, right? He turned it up, and that was the most active he was in terms of how many fights he had and all the success that he did. That's what I want to mention.
Interesting. So maybe this last fight against Ortiz got the rust out because he did look a little rusty, and I think that's had something to do with Ortiz as well. Let's go to another phone call here. Let's go to 929. 929, you're on the air. 929, what's in your mind?
What's going on, BDA? What's up, Recognize?
Oh, is this? I think it's Virtuoso.
What's going on?
Yeah, what's up, man?
Oh, Virtuoso. What's up, Virtuoso?
Hey, what's going on, OG? What's up? Yeah, this fight I've been waiting for like at least 4 years, man, because there's been some revisionist history from Haney that claims he really wanted this fight, but I think it was to his best. It was best for him to hold off on that thought, because there's things that he didn't know back then that he probably can know now that can help him defeat Loma. And I think one of it is I think he's improved. I think he has improved skill wise. You know, I think he's a very sharp punch placement type of a fighter, man, and he has very quick hands and has impeccable timing, man. And that is something you have to really look out for if you're a Lomachenko. But Lomachenko is like, it's always three-dimensional chess in his mind, man. And it's like he's always on the move. So he can't keep his, his opponents, guessing with that type of movement that he has. But I think Haney's really imperative, to win the fight is to control the distance, man. But Loma, his footwork, I don't know why people claiming that he's of old age, but I don't think age is going to be much of a factor here, man. It's like I think Loma's been in good shape recently, man. I think people make too much of how he looked against Ortiz, considering that he had ring rust. I thought he did pretty well, controlling, his gas tank. I mean, managing his gas tank, but also knowing when to step on the gas, and when to let go. I think that type of knowledge is helpful for a fighter who knows how to take it into deep waters, and I think Lomachenko is capable of that. Now, I gotta say this about Loma. The whole gimmick about him downloading information. I think that's all a gimmick that was brought about by Tim Bradley. When I saw a replay of the Campbell versus Loma fight, and he was the one that started that crap. But it's okay to have a fill out round. It's just as long as you don't have that thing, build up over a course of like 3 or 4 rounds. I would give Loma like at least 2 rounds to give him a fill out round, and then he has to step it up. He has to step up the pressure and close the distance, man, because I still don't trust Haney on the inside, man. I really don't. So this has been a 50-50 fight, the first 50-50 fight, in my opinion, of 2023. I'm going to have to pick Loma by split decision.
All right, there you have it. So Virtuoso breaking it down. That's his prediction. Lomachenko by split decision. I got it down, Virtuoso. Thank you for your call, and call back next time, right, man? Take it easy out there.
Always a pleasure, man.
Thank you.
Peace.
Thank you. All right, let's go to the phone call here. Don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like. Get us at least to 150 likes. Come on. 323, you're on the air. 323, what's on your mind?
Hey, BDA, what's going on? It's Don Madrazos here. Gentlemen, I can't tell you how much this guy was showing his cards today when he was talking about being a free agent. Now, if you want to be a free agent, that's fine. But with your promoter sitting there and the fight about to happen, why the fuck would you mention being a free agent? This is a really interesting turn of events here. So I'm thinking to myself, what is this guy thinking, talking about being a free agent, and then kind of catching himself, and then buttering up Mr. Bob Arum right after he said that. And I'm talking about Haney, of course.
Sure.
And what's with this nonsense? I just jumped on. You guys already probably talked about this. But what's with this nonsense about we were calling you out 4 years ago? What, when you were like 20 years old? Are you kidding? You were calling out Lomachenko when you had no belts. You were basically practically a prospect in the sport. You just made your debut on DAZN, and you're calling out Lomachenko, even though you know he's on top rank and you know that fight's not going to happen. The clout chasing, the grandstanding, it's coming off pretty weak to me, in my opinion, on Haney's side. And yeah, man, Haney doesn't have any inside game. He's a simple 1-2-1 hug. As a matter of fact, I have a wager going on with someone at the gym. How many times do you think Haney will hug before round 5? I say 100 times before round 5. I have a $50 wager. Anybody care to go in on that?
Fellas in the panel,
I'm going to give Haney the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to say he does that through the entirety of the fight, meaning all 12 rounds.
My goodness gracious! All right.
Well, so no, I'm talking about like he's in a hug. He will by round 5 he will have hugged 100 times already. That's my wager. Like with someone doesn't believe me at the gym. I'm like no, I don't think so. I'm like, did you see?
If that happens, that would be terrible. That would be terrible.
Yeah. By the way, those clinches, we did a clinch count after the second Kambosos fight. That compilation found its way to Reddit, and many more people are seeing, they're witnessing the clinching. It cannot be denied. It's undeniable at this point. I don't know if he's going to be able to get a chance to clinch. I think this is why he petitioned. So right now, he's already talking about Loma being dirty because he knows he might have to grab onto Lomachenko. And Lomachenko, when he gets...
You know what he's talking about, right?
But
you know what he's talking about?
What's that?
Yeah,
he's talking about Lomachenko punching out of that clinch.
Exactly.
Or you know how he wiggles his arm out of. So what he's saying, what he's complaining, what he considers dirty, is fighting back. That's basically.
Yeah, basically,
it's life is. Okay, he's the problem with life. It's very simple.
That's the other thing.
Hold on, one at a time, because you guys are talking at the same time. There's a huge delay between the Discord and the.
I didn't hear him. Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, no, that's Recognize. Go ahead, and then Don Madassos. Yeah, but Recognize. Go ahead. Finish your.
Okay, no, real quick. Right. This is very simple. What people are trying to do is play word games. They're trying to play word games to justify what he's against is Loma fighting back. That's it. That's what I want to say. It's very simple.
Recognize, right?
Yes. What's up, boss?
This recognize? Okay. You make a really good point there because basically what he's saying is he's trying to justify him holding, and he doesn't want. He's accusing Lomachenko of dirty tactics when all he's doing is fighting out of the clinch. Is what you're supposed to do when a ref says, "Fight out." You know, when you're holding, fight out. So Loma tries to fight out because he actually has inside game, and you can add that to the number of excuses or hims and haws about the fight. You avoided us for 4 years. You're a dirty fighter. God, what else was there? Just a number of horseshit excuses that you're already hearing from Haney's side. Because, of course, if you're going to start already making excuses for the fight, you're not very confident going in. I mean, Loma didn't even call him out for that. Loma didn't even say, hey, you know what? You were nothing when you called me out. Why would I have thought of fighting you? Like, I was after champions, not just some prospect. Like, I had a mission. I had a goal. You know, we keep seeing it with fighters nowadays. I mean, with fighters have a goal. They have a mission. They want to be champions. They're not thinking about these guys that are just calling them out that have nothing to offer. So
let me tell you this.
I'm still leaning with. Go ahead.
Before you get to your pick, this is what I said. They called Lomachenko out. Yeah, they called him out on social media. That's not an official offer. That's that people have to make the distinction between that. So again, this was perfectly played by the Haneys. They played their audience or their fans. They. See, we're calling him out. Yeah, but even when Top Rank side petitioned for the franchise belt, the Haney side could have still made him an offer. They didn't. And then Haney ended up getting injured, and then Lomachenko decided to fight the much more dangerous Lopez. So there was no reason and there was no chance to fight Haney. That's it. But yes, Don Madassos, what's your official prediction here?
Well, that's true because at the time, Lopez was much more of a dangerous fighter. He had knocked out Richie Comey. He had outboxed Nakatani, and he was on a winning streak. And he had a belt. That was the much more dangerous 135-pounder at the time. At the time when they fought, he fought the most dangerous guy. He was considered more dangerous than Tank Davis by many people, and he was definitely considered more dangerous. I'm speaking about Teofimo Lopez. He was considered more dangerous than Ryan Garcia, of course, and Devin Haney. And I think Tevin Farmer had a belt back then too, and I think that was maybe the year he lost it or whatever. But so there were a few champions out there at the time, and he decided to fight the most dangerous guy while he was injured, and he still took the fight. So
listen, we covered
come up
this
here and say in grandstand.
Jimmy broke this down. Don Madassos. Yeah, that's the thing though. What's his name? Jimmy did a great job of breaking that down. I'm gonna put the link in there for that video where Jimmy breaks it down because everything you're saying it's spot on. But I'm just curious, who are you picking to win this fight?
Oh, I'm still picking Loma, of course. I've never changed my mind about that. Never. I'm picking Loma by unanimous decision, and
I really wouldn't be, I mean, if he TKOs him or whatever, that's, I wouldn't be surprised. He's got great footwork. The Jermaine Ortiz fight was shaking up the ring rust, the guy he had sparred with, I don't know how many times. So, yeah, I mean, come on. I try explaining to people, Haney has no inside game. When he gets inside, he has nothing else to do but hug. He's a hugger. He doesn't fight on the inside. He just doesn't do it. He's got a beautiful jab. He's got good timing. But, is that going to work against a southpaw? No, I don't know. I don't think so. Can Lomachenko negate that jab? Yes, definitely. So,
all right. Well, there you go.
I don't know. It's going to come down to who's reffing. I don't know who is reffing yet. And also, I don't know why he would talk about being a free agent when why would that even come up? And then you said you love working with Top Rank. I mean, just don't get what
those guys are living in another world.
Freudian slip.
No, they're living in another world. They're following the Teofimo Lopez playbook, where they feel like they're invincible. They feel like they can do no wrong. And you got to work with the promoters as a fighter. Otherwise, you never know when they're going to drop you before when you least expect it. But anyway, listen, Don Malatazos, we got to go, man. But thank you for calling back. I did already have your prediction down. You were correct on that one. So shout out to you, man, and call back next time, all right? Take it easy out there.
You guys, take it easy. Have a good.
You too, man. Take it easy. All right. Well, listen, I got to ask you guys on the panel. Shout out to all the callers, by the way. This thing about it could go both ways, right? Let me just explain this properly. You look at the Lomachenko-Ortiz fight. Lomachenko, there was a lot of things that Ortiz was doing. There were a lot of things he was doing to keep him off balance and to prevent him from teeing off on him. On the flip side to that coin, we got Jojo Diaz making Devin Haney look very bad. But then on that fucking other side of that three-dimensional coin that I just made up, we also had to understand that Jojo Diaz has a different style than Lomachenko's. It's a come forward style.
He's doing them in little spurts, but that's how he had to win the fight against Ortiz. Ortiz was not going to lose that fight unless Loma made him lose that fight. He had to make him lose that fight.
Basically, Loma had to rip it off
just to let you,
hands.
Gonzalo, sorry. Gonzalo, just to let you know, we're back on the air.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, BD. Look, Jojo Diaz is a small dude. Can't crack, but he's got a tough chin. So he's trying himself out at 135. He's trying to be that Canelo. I mean, he does come forward. He is aggressive. But he can't crack once again. But he does have that chin. Now, with that being said, okay, on the doggo meter, yeah, Jojo Diaz got it. I think Lomachenko got it more. He got more of a dog. The doggo meter's true. Okay, now Lomachenko's like a little pit bull.
Wait, by the way, Butcher, do we have the doggo meter on hand? Butcher, you there?
I believe it's on Dropbox.
All right, fantastic. But Gonzalo, you're right, though. It's look, this fight, to put it succinctly, is going to come down to a melange, a mix of things. It's going to be skill, talent, and perhaps some good fortune on top of that. Because again, this is high stakes boxing. It's not just any one thing that wins you the fight. So I'm looking forward to it. And I was hearing you there when I came back. I heard Recognize talking about that Jermaine Ortiz fight. Again, could go both ways, man. That Ortiz could be better than we thought, or maybe it is true. Maybe Lomachenko's been slipping. Maybe the Jojo Diaz fight was a bad night or bad night at the office for Haney. We don't know. We'll find out Saturday. Tell you that much right now.
No, you're 100% right. It could be a combination of things. I think that it is a combination of events that the fight played out the way it did. I think that Jermaine Ortiz is a good fighter. I mean, he beat Jamel Herring, right? After Jamel Herring had lost to Shakur Stevenson, and then I think I don't know if Herring had a fight before the Ortiz fight or went straight into it. But if you look at the way he beat Jamel Herring, he beat him with skills. He was doing some of the same things that he did with Lomachenko. So this is something that he does in fighting, okay? With the Lomachenko fight, I think that whether or not he's getting older, which he, excuse me, it's not a question. He is getting older. Whether that played a factor, who knows? But the one thing that I saw from Jermaine Ortiz was that there was skill to those him winning rounds, him taking rounds. I gave him about 4 to 5 rounds. He earned those rounds. You get what I'm saying? He was winning them. Yeah, Lomachenko looked a little lethargic at times in those rounds where he was losing, but it was also Ortiz doing them. You know what I'm saying? He was doing that.
That's
right. And then obviously Lomachenko's experience kicked in. The later rounds, the pressure, the educated pressure coming in. How he slips the jab, how he catch, he can get inside, he collapses the pocket and can confuse you, by throwing body shots and just when you think he's going up top, he hits you to the body with a sharp punch. It's not that he's such a devastating puncher, he's a sharp puncher. He has precision in those punches. He knows what he wants to do with it. So you have to be aware of it. Obviously, you got to be aware of those punches. Now, does that translate to Ortiz is better than Haney? I don't know. I can't say that for sure. I know fighting style wise, I enjoy Ortiz more. That doesn't mean because I enjoy Ortiz style better than Haney that necessarily means he's a better fighter than Haney. Haney could be better and still match up terrible against Lomachenko in the fight. So there's going to be a lot of questions that are going to be answered in that fight. When I come to my watching boxing and having experience and watching different type of styles, I still see Lomachenko beating him. But the odds are against him. They're against him for a reason. Okay? This is not a conspiracy theory, although conspiracies do exist. There's a reason why he's a pretty overwhelmingly a underdog in that fight. Okay, I think 2.5 to 1 or 3, whatever it was, 3.5 to 1. I think that's a pretty significant underdog.
Well, let me tell you something. I want to see what happens. Again, people should check out the film analysis we did yesterday to check out some of the keys to victory. If you're interested in this type of talk, check out last night's episode. I'm going to put the link in the chat. I thought it was a good breakdown for both guys. Keys to victories for both Haney and Lomachenko. And I will say this. We're going to come to the end here of this episode because I'm running out of steam and especially with the fucking interruptions here. But I will say this though. On Saturday, we're going to be, hopefully we see skill and heart in display, or on display rather. By the way, I just realized I didn't post the correct link there. But yes, heart, skill, determination, that's what I want to see. You want to know who else shows heart and determination? We do on this show. Because the internet keeps going off for some reason today. It was real bad today, worse than ever. But guess what? We don't stay down. Anybody can get put down. I put people down all the time with my fists. It's very easy to do from my end. But whether people can get back up, that's the most important thing. What's that?
Stop bragging on yourself.
I'm just saying. So to my point is, you can get knocked down, but you get back up, is what I'm saying. And so I'm going to leave people with this. I get knocked down. There you go. This is a karaoke version, so I don't think we get in trouble if I play this. Let's do the karaoke version here. Hey, wait a minute. It says karaoke version, and then it has the lyrics. I want the... Fuck, I was going to sing it. What is this?
Can you say the lyrics? Say the lyrics. Go ahead. Excuse me.
Wait, I think someone's been drinking. What the fuck, man?
Well, I'm drinking his soda.
Yeah, right. Okay, yeah, man. Reckon it's got those hiccups there. The
root beer.
Yeah, the root beer. root beer hiccups. Now, yeah, I can't find a version of this song without the lyrics. I wrote Chumbawamba, thumb thumping, and no, I don't get the... Everything's with lyrics. Yeah, they all say lyrics. Fuck that. Anyway, you didn't want to hear me sing it either way. But yeah, man, look, it's going to be an interesting fight. And you know what? Before we go, let me just replay a little preview here for people who are interested in the film analysis. It's a long one, though. It's about 3 hours. So you're going to have to dig down for that. But here is, and actually, let me share the screen here with you, fellas. Gonzalo and Chief were there yesterday. They made some very good points. Let me play you the because I want to really make something clear here about the fight. Both guys have a very good chance. I'm picking Lomachenko, but the people that are picking Devin Haney, I can see where they're coming, especially the ones that really break down. Because it's easy to say, well, this guy's got more skills, this guy's is taller, this guy's is quicker, younger. Okay, what does that mean? There's been plenty of younger guys that get beaten. They're by older men. So let me just fast forward here. Yeah, this is what he has to. This is what Haney has to do. This is his keys to victory here, real quick. The left hook. People always talk about the right hand against the southpaw. If you want to take away the shorter guy's attack, left hooks, and you can see that Haney does that well here. He's got a quick left hook. He's got good reflexes. The problem is, as Gonzalo pointed out yesterday, that left hook. So sometimes he slaps with it. So maybe Lomachenko's not going to give a crap about it. But as you can see here, Ortiz had a good left hook too. And he caught Lomachenko coming in there a couple of times with that left hook. Let me just fast forward here because I'm just showing you examples of him catching left hooks against other fighters. The body shot, counter to the body. When he jumps in, not there, but there, when he jumps in, you go downstairs to the body. You make him think twice about just jumping in. Because when you're punching and when you least expect it, you catch one of those body shots, oof, that could really take away the... Look at that. See how he doubled him over there with that body shot? Of course, Ortiz did it from a southpaw stance. Haney's not a southpaw. Real quick, anybody has anything to comment on this clip so far? Does it make sense? Does it... Can Haney
those are good clips, man. Yeah. I think the lead left hook could play a key factor in Devin Haney success in the fight. Yeah, he should. He should go to it. Maybe that's enough to throw off. Lomachenko.
I think that's the punch. I mean, I'm not saying don't throw it. It's boxing. I think that's the punch he gets caught with because when he throws it, like I mentioned, he slaps with it, and sometimes he cuffs the opponent, so he kind of gets stuck on mud like a little bit. The hand. So he's not great, as somebody pointed out, at pivoting and moving laterally as well as Lomachenko. Yeah, he can move back and forth. But when he throws that hook, he's just going to be a little slower because the little dude, he could turn their torso quicker. So hook for hook, if that hand gets stuck on mud, by me saying that where he cuffs Lomachenko and throws like a wide left hook, that's not catching the dude like cleanly, Lomachenko's going to counter him because he's not going to give a fuck about the punch, the impact.
Yeah. And you know what?
I could see. I'm sorry. Go ahead, BD.
No, go ahead.
No, to Gonzalo's point, I could see him when he's throwing that lead left hook, trying to cuff Loma. Loma slips it through his, going to Haney's left and catches him with a hook shot from the left. So he's got to be careful because he does leave himself open when he throws the. He kind of has his guard down. And his chin, even though his chin is tucked, but it's still there to get hit.
You know what, man?
With that left.
Yeah, the other thing from Haney, and this is something that one of the callers pointed out, that he's not like what Ortiz was doing. He was flurrying a lot. Now, flurries aren't always accurate. I think Haney's a more accurate fighter than Ortiz, but that's precisely why Lomachenko had trouble because it kept him shelled up. Haney doesn't do what we're about to see here, but he should. He should make Lomachenko shell up because when he's shelling up, he's not countering. Don't get me wrong, Lomachenko can counter, like right there, you saw him counter, but he's not the type of guy that he does this. He runs around and then he punch shots. He doesn't do that. You keep him occupied, that might be enough to offset him in his calmer moments. And like Gonzalo said yesterday, you take away his momentum. You shut him down. You prevent him from attacking, and essentially you steal the momentum from him, and you're one step ahead. Now he has to catch up to you, and maybe he does something stupid. But again, what we're seeing here from Ortiz and even from crazy fucking Comey here, you see him how he's fighting like a maniac. That's not Haney's game plan, and that's not his style. So I don't know if we're going to see it, but I think he should do a little bit of that.
He should, yeah. He could do it too. He could do it. The question is, again, is he going to get intimidated if he gets caught in between those punches, mainly by the left, whether it's a hook to upstairs or a hook to the body, will determine if he continues doing that. because I think he could stop him in his tracks and rack up points and beat Lomachenko if he does throw that lead left hook.
Absolutely. The other thing is take away Lomachenko's left hand by countering with right uppercuts or any type of uppercut. You can see here Haney doing some of that. But like I mentioned as well here, you're going to see here, he can't get too crazy with the uppercut because you can see here Lomachenko always keeps his chin tucked in. So even if the uppercut is timed correctly, see here it didn't do anything. And then on top of that, see there right there, Haney throwing the uppercut from too far away. Let me just rewind that there. Hold on a second. He got caught in an exchange with a big right hook, like right there. See that? He was leaning back as opposed to staying in position. And then I mentioned the jabs. But here's the other thing, though. Look at this. This is what Ortiz did against Lomachenko to cause trouble. That caused him trouble. See the pivots? Very quick pivots. Yeah. Even then when he gets hit, like right there. See that fucking move? He's crossing the feet to get a quicker movement. I've never seen Haney really do that. See these type of moves here.
It's amazing how Lomachenko can still put pressure on a guy who's bigger than him and has good footwork. It's just how fast you see those little slips that he does, BDA, and it's like it's enough to make the bigger fighter like step away, and then that's all Lomachenko needs. Then he's next thing you know, he's pushing you back.
Right, and that's the other thing though. Like here, like you said, Ortiz was trying to play Lomachenko's game, and he did well. That's why I think Lomachenko was never able to fully pin him down the way he does with some other guys. But then again, let's keep watching Ortiz. This is Ortiz from other fights, and then I'm gonna play some Haney clips to see the difference. Look at Ortiz. Actually, hold on. There's a graphic there on the screen. Real quick, shout out to Chris K for his contribution to the super chat. He says Haney gets DQ'd from sexual holding. Loma is the first #MeToo champion. LOL. Loma in pocket should do well. 50-50 for me, he says. Haney weight cut and Loma age are factors. There you go. Those are the X factors, he says. Shout out to Chris K. Hopefully we don't see too much sexual assaulting going on because we want to see a clean fight. So shout out to Chris K, aka Undercover Asian, for his contribution. Recognize, I don't think you saw these clips here. So check out Ortiz's previous fights just to give you a context of his style and then compare that to Haney's footwork, and we'll see if Haney does some of the things Ortiz does. So this is the Loma fight. Hold on a second. Okay, so this is against Jamel Herring here. We're going to, real quick here. There we go. This is against Jamel Herring, and we see similar footwork. A lot of pivoting, a lot of turning, clinching and then turning. And he's very quick, as you can see here.
You see, he's not. Haney's not elusive like he is on with his stance. His stance is kind of wide open. You know, I'm not saying he can move when he has to, but it's like it's more defensive. You know, and where this guy's creating punches with his footwork, with his foot movement. I don't see Haney doing that. I'm not saying he can't do that. I don't see him do it in a lot of fights.
Yeah, what we're highlighting here is that the one thing that Ortiz does better than Haney is he's much more dynamic with his footwork. He's also more aggressive, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he's a better offensive fighter. But then, okay, now let's look at Haney's pivoting. Here he is against crazy George Kambosos, who was not fainting.
Still goes back to that wide stance. Goes back to the wide stance no matter what. I'm talking about Haney. Look. See how he's not as good as Jermaine Ortiz.
So you're saying that this type of pivots are not going to be enough to keep Loma turning?
Oh, I'm not saying it won't be. It could be, who knows, but I wouldn't bet on it.
Right. Well, I'm just highlighting. Yeah, I'm highlighting here the when he did pivot against Jojo Diaz. See there, weaving, punching, pivoting with the punch. So he can do it, but one guy, Ortiz, was much more fleet-footed, and maybe that's why he gave Lomachenko so much trouble, and maybe that's why Haney won't be able to pull that same thing off. I don't know. It's food for thought here for people, but you can see here This is the first fight against
all boxers become predictable after a while when you're fighting them. They all become predictable. And sometimes footwork and the way you feint and all that stuff has a lot to do with it. I think if I had to judge Haney's predictability versus Jermaine Ortiz, I would say Haney is higher. He's a bit more predictable as the fight goes along.
That's what I've been trying to get to here, that if there's one reason why I would pick Loma over Haney, and why I'm picking him rather, is because I don't know if that Haney style of the 1-2-1-2 is going to be enough to beat Lomachenko. The way I would see it is if he's way faster than Lomachenko and he can crack Loma in between Loma's attacks. In other words, he would have to be very, very fast and very, very good with that timing.
Yeah.
Now, yeah.
And PDA, and if you think about Lomachenko, he's a guy that reads patterns better than anybody. Now, we're talking about Haney. He's only got that one pattern back and forth. He's going to pick up on that pattern really quickly. But like you said, the only way you see that, I'm thinking also if he with that one pattern that he does well, with the back and forth sticking out the jab because he's way quicker, he's able to nullify Lomachenko. But I would have to add to that, maybe like later on, I think he's gonna bring it like Jojo Diaz. He's gonna have that dog where even though Haney throws 3 punches, 3 jabs, pop, 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 he's gonna close the distance and not take 2 to land 1. He's gonna take 2 to land his 3 or 4 with the momentum that Lomachenko got coming forward. Basically he's gonna come and pressure him like late in the fight, take what he got and throw more back because he's aggressive.
Yeah, man. You're absolutely right. Now, that brings us to Lomachenko's keys to victory. Let's just watch this one real quick. So, he has to go to the body. He doesn't go to the body often enough. He used to do that more at 126, 130. Nowadays, he seems to be headhunting a little bit. Now, here he hurt Ortiz with a straight left to the body. And as you can see, Jojo was able to double Haney over with a straight left there. So that it is imperative that size, strength, all that, you take away that by going to the body. He has to either, you see Lomachenko doing that every once in a while. So if he's going to attack the body, he's got to attack it early, dig that left uppercut, that shovel hook to the liver. And here against Lopez, against Lopez, you can see here that he did get that. There you go. See that? See how he made Lopez pin that elbow back down. That's what he has to do. That's his key to victory right there. That's one of his keys to victory. If he can go to the body enough, he's here he is hurting Salido in the last round. Salido's a tough guy, and Lomachenko gave him a taste of his own medicine there, doubling him over with those hooks and uppercuts, down the plexus. Here's against Gary Russell Jr. This one I'm going to fast forward because that's a southpaw. Same thing here with Luke Campbell. Here's against Pedraza, another southpaw. The point is body, body, body. And you can see that he did that a little bit against Ortiz here. A little unhinged. I think, again, that goes to Ortiz's credit. But then once he got him to slow down, he started to dig in more to the body. He has to do that from...
Boy, Lomachenko got a strong back. That's what I realized. His back, I'm not talking about his ass, goddamn. I'm talking about his back, like his actual back.
Nobody said anything about the ass, but yeah, I know there's people out there that might say... Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not speaking to you guys. I'm just, in case somebody heard it and wanted, misinterpret it purposely.
No.
The back muscles, man. The back muscles, the kind of like the V shape that he has, but it's more in a square instead of like the actual V. That's why he's so confident to go to the body, and that's why he gets bigger guys to like heel over from those body shots, man.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
I heard Juan Manuel Marquez mentioning. I heard Juan Manuel Marquez mentioning that Lomachenko got a long torso. I found that interesting because I never noticed that.
He does have a long torso, and he grows a V. Okay, some guys grow a V shape. He kind of has it. It's kind of square because of the long torso, and I think because he's a boxer too. You get what I'm saying? Since he's more for boxing, so he wants to create that fucking torque into that punch, whether he's hooking it or throwing a straight punch. You know what I'm saying? It comes from working out the back as well. Making sure that you have a strong back, because if you have a strong back, you can punch on the fly. Meaning, I don't have to be still. I could have my feet moving, the target's moving. Some guys are only good at punching a target that's still hard. Some guys could do it when you're on the move, and a lot of his workout regimens is him training to punch on the fly and to hurt you, to be a sharp puncher. I don't think he's a devastating puncher. I think he's a sharp puncher. And a lot of that's coming from what I noticed just now watching. Well, I've been noticing, but, it's like something that stood out to me. He's got a lot of back muscle.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, it's going to be an interesting fight, man. It's going to be an interesting fight for sure. The plan is for Bucho to do a Friday show, but again, we got to work out the kinks here of the connection. But hopefully, because otherwise, it's going to be a shit show on top of a shit show. But yeah, that's the plan. We're closing in on 4 hours here. I got to keep it shorter because we got to put this episode up on Spreaker.
Wow, it's a hell of a show.
It was a long show, man, but it was good. It was good, except for a couple of difficulties. Like I said, we get knocked down, but we get back up with this with these hijinks with the internet. But anyway, fellas, shout out to Gonzalo. Shout out to Recognize. Jimmy was here earlier. King Bucho, Chief as well. They were here earlier. They had to drop out. But shout out to those fellas, and shout out to everybody that donated the super chat. I'm talking about Ryan M, Scalebender, that's Uncle Pete, Bushido Kai, Juggernaut, The Functopus, Medardo Garcia, I Am Your Leader, Hyperspace, Jonathan Lambarena, aka Forklift Guy, The Theological Handyman, KO Surge, Dennis F from Boston, Just Brian, Toon, Plutonium Loach, Ed Dog, Urea Smith. Thank you guys so much for your contributions. With this, we do have to. It has to go into repairing the internet. Although it goes to, just to let people know where the money goes. The phone lines, they are quite costly. Using the Blog Talk every year, we do have to pay for that so we can take phone calls. And then, of course, Spreaker too. You got to pay on Spreaker. I think that's how it still works. You have to pay on Spreaker so that you can then put it on iTunes, I think, or Spotify. I forget how it works. But yes, your money goes
and then
back.
he's got to pay me. He's got to give me my money. So he's got to give me my half.
The new contract, the new contract that Recognize has. It's true, man. He jibbed us. I don't know what to tell you, fellas. No, but it also goes into paying for the TSN subscription so we can watch the fights and then talk about them with you guys. So shout out to you, fellas. Everybody donated. And if you didn't donate, but you hit the like, fantastic. Keep subscribing. Keep getting people to subscribe. Spread that BDA gospel. I want to give a big shout out to everybody that called in as well. I always appreciate your calls. I got your predictions down here. We got about 40-something predictions. So shout out to everybody there in the chat. Everybody in the chat, man. Larry Lopez, G, Samuel Forsyth, Warp Speed, Wise Guy, The Functopus, Knockout Ned, Jump Tube, Joker, The Wise Guy, Timothy Figueroa. Who else is in here? Hold on a second. Brown Mexican in the house as well. Bushido Kai, Joey Chaz, Chris K, E Infamous.
These all sound like names that belong. These are all criminals from America.
It's true, man. I mean, I wouldn't put it past this. I wouldn't put it past some of these guys to be in that type of work. Let me just say that.
All sound like street names.
All right, well, listen, fellas. Thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. I'm trying to look for the music here. I'm losing my concentrate. My powers of focus are leaving me. All right, shout out to everybody that joined us real quick. Shout out to everybody. Again, see you on Friday. And if we don't see you on Friday, Saturday I'm doing the post-fight call-in show. Just calls. So make sure to call in after the fight if we do it. We'll let you guys know in advance. Take it easy, fellas. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one.